A single man plant himself firmly on his own idea.
Have you been given any assurances that Ukraine will have an equal seat at the negotiating table?
So I will never accept any decisions between the United States and Russia about Ukraine. Never. And our people, never. And our adults and children.
Warned citizens that they intend to shut down social media during times of civil unrest the moment they spot what they've judged to be, quote, hateful content. Or to this very country, where police have carried out raids against citizens suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of, quote, combating misogyny on the internet.
This is Ashley St. Clair, a conservative social media influencer and the latest girl to get knocked up by Elon Musk. Yesterday on Valentine's Day, she posted this to Twitter, saying 5 months ago she had a baby by Elon Musk, but she was going to keep it anonymous to keep the family private and safe. However, the media keeps on poking around, and so it's not a safe environment anyway, so I might as well just come out and talk about it. Now, let me tell you something, folks. There is a 100% chance that on Valentine's Day, this girl wanted some sort of attention or something from Elon Musk. He didn't give it to her, and she said, oh yeah? Well, guess what? I'm going home.
Welcome back to Resistant Chicks. I'm one of your hosts, Michelle. I apologize for our tardiness today. I'm not going to lie. We had a hog butcher this weekend, and we may or may not have been up until very, very late last night cleaning up after the aftermath of that. And so we've got a late start today. So my apologies to you guys right off the bat. But we have a phenomenal show for you. The EU, terrified of Trump's position on Ukraine, the war in Ukraine. I chose some very specific ornery pictures right here in the corner of Trump and Putin and those little sparkling eyes that Putin tends to have. We've got a clip here. I played a little bit of it in the intro of Zelensky saying, I'm not going to trust any deal made between the United States and Russia about Ukraine. Not going to do it.
I'm baby
Zelensky.
Baby soon.
So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into that. Now, JD Vance calling out the UK.
Well, the whole EU.
And the whole EU, yeah. the EU and the UK on free speech.
Yeah.
So phenomenal speech from JD Vance there. So we're going to play that in a little bit. Now, I was kind of laughing creating today's thumbnail. And
I knew you would be.
today.
I knew this was like, we are not the gossip rag. I know
we have turned into a gossip rag.
Every once in a while, we will play a Daily Mail or read a Daily Mail article.
Nope, we're the gossip rag now.
But now we have become the gossip rag.
And so, what is the gossip rag? let me tell it, and then Leah can talk about it.
Go for it.
So I find this story rather humorous because, and I'm sure Leah already saw the latest on this because it's her story that she wants to cover. Elon Musk has 12 kids, now 13. Okay. I knew he had a ton of kids. I wasn't sure how many kids he had. Now he had his 12 by 3 different females.
Yeah.
And now he has 13 by 4 different females. This whole saga keeps getting weirder and weirder. The latest baby child that has been birthed is from a social media influencer who's 26 years old.
Actually, what's so funny is that people are saying she lies. She's actually 31, but she lies 5 years younger.
I don't know. She looks very young to me.
No, there's other pictures.
Okay.
She's filtered her pictures.
Okay.
Super filtered.
Okay.
And like in real life, people are like, no, she's 31. She's older.
Okay. Well, whatever.
But yeah,
it
I
is
get
said that she's 26. Elon Musk is 53.
But still, it's
weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's so weird. Her name is Ashley St. Clair. She is a social media quote unquote influencer, meaning she doesn't have a life. She doesn't have a job. Her job is to just influence and be mega. All right. I want to get into the details of that story in a minute, but I want to tell you my personal awakening of this story. So Leah, so we did a hog butchering this weekend. Our St. Valentine's Day hog slaughter, by the way. St. Valentine's Day slaughter. I kept calling it that. Leah said I can't call it that. So Friday evening, everybody comes and we do the dispatching of the hog, and we did, you get to scald it in hot water over a fire, and then you scrape all the fur off. Everybody did so great. We had a huge crowd, huge for our house. Our house is very, very small. Not very, very small, but it's small for a crowd of people. So everybody came. They did a great job, and in 30 minutes less than what I had anticipated, I'd scheduled for 3 hours. We did it in 2.5. We had the hog dispatched, scalded, scraped, eviscerated, the whole 9 yards, hung up, and then Leah made a little adorable apple crisp last minute idea, which I'm so glad that she did, because it was gone, the whole thing, 9x13 pan, just gone, nothing left. You guys are amazing. So we come inside, we're exhausted. It's been a long day of getting everything ready, up at the crack of dawn, cleaning and prepping and all this, that, and the other. And then everybody comes, and then you got this big physical thing, and you're interacting with a lot of people. And the end of the night, trying to decompress. And I'm thinking Leah's going to bring up, different conversations that we've had with people throughout the day, or something, whatever, constructive. And all she can talk about, this was on Valentine's Day, is this Ashley St. Clair girl and Elon Musk's 13th baby. And I'm like, Leah, she's like, Michelle, you don't understand. It's the only thing happening on Twitter right now. So I'm hearing this saga. We finally go to bed after cleaning things up, and we get up the next day, do it all over again. Everyone got here at 10, and we finished at around 5:30, and then we did a potluck, and last people didn't leave until like 11:30 last night. I'm exhausted. Like, my brain is fried. I can't think. I put on a documentary about the War of 1812 while I'm eating a little snack. I'm trying to watch this documentary on the War of 1812. And Leah is like, Michelle, you don't even understand. She said, they're calling it the Valentine's Day slaughter. And I said, they did what? She said, Michelle, you don't know. They're calling it the Valentine's Day slaughter because on Valentine's Day, she comes out with all this, right? It was Valentine's Day that she came out with it, or was it the day before?
Valentine's Day.
It was Valentine's Day. This all seems so long ago. She comes out. Can I tell this, or do you want to tell it? You want to tell it. I'm going to let Leah go ahead and tell it. But this is what I'm trying to say here. This is the only thing that has happened on Twitter in the last 48 to 72 hours.
No, there's two things, actually, and the one I don't care about. One is this trad wife, supposedly this patriarchy woman, and there's a whole group of patriarchy women. They believe women should be silent, just be at home, raise their kids, and it's a very strange world. But it is a very hardcore world. And one of their ringleaders was patriarchy Hannah or whatever, and she had amassed a good following on Twitter. She had a Discord channel, and she actually talked to certain people on the phone. She's had some of these online pastors on her podcasts. But without any of her face ever being shown. She said that she was like a mother of 14. Her children were, some of them were adults. And turns out she's like this 31-year-old overweight woman who has been convicted of check fraud.
So that's right. You did tell me about that, which is super fascinating.
A lot of these stay-at-home moms, they followed her in their circle. And it's so funny because a lot of these other women have like even bigger followings than her, and they're like, how many of you feel duped? How many of you feel like, you just didn't know? And so she posted all these like kind of really weird things that like to really get women to submit to their husbands. And it's just a very strange world.
All right. I just want to point something out in the chat. Shauna says the apple crisp was so good. All right. And then Chris in the chat, who came in, oh my gosh, I have to do this. Like huge accolades and applause. I have 170 videos and pictures on the external hard drive now. I just transferred it so that I'd have enough space on the computer to go live today. That Chris came and filmed and took pictures of the entire thing this weekend. It was just giant because we don't have a film crew. And so a lot of times we get in this stuff. I think I took like 7 pictures because I didn't get a chance. So thank you so much for that. That's awesome. But my point in pointing this out is we had real people at our house yesterday. We are real people, flesh and blood. If you got these influencers that are like just posting like pictures and like a couple like little videos here and there, you ain't know nothing about these people. You follow them, you probably send them money and donations, and they could be committing check fraud. Complete not real people. You got to watch the internet these days. But I want to get back to, before you even get into this story, this giant I told you so on this Ashley St. Clair thing, because I think we should just dive right into this because I got everybody hooked and they want to listen. Listen here. I said it last night about Elon Musk as Leah, this is kind of a punchline, but as Leah is unfolding this story for me, and please unfold it for them the way that you did for me. Don't give them don't give them the ahead before you give them the foundation of these, how he got all these kids and these different moms, okay? Elon Musk has all these kids. And the question is, why is he having all these kids? And he keeps posting about having all these kids. And he wants to... Leah, just tell them the story, or I'm going to end up telling the whole thing. I can't tell the punchline. But when we get to it, I'm going to tell them that I told you so last night, because I found out today, scrolling through your Twitter real quick.
No, that was fake.
Are you sure it's fake?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did that get faked?
Because people fake things. So you have to, I did not tweet it out.
Okay.
Because I check these things.
Okay.
I always check. That's the thing.
But I'm still right.
I believe we're right.
I am right.
That Elon Musk
is playing God with his genes. Like Genes.
Yeah.
Not Jene.
Yeah.
All right, keep going. Tell him the story, Leah. Start from the beginning, just the way that you told it to me, because that's what I need for you to do.
Okay, why don't you...
Do you have all your tabs up?
I do. So I saw this tweet come out from a girl named Ashley Sinclair. She's got over 1 million followers on Twitter, and she said, the media has been hounding me, and I have been in hiding, and for the safety of my child, I've been keeping my 5-month-old baby a secret, but I have a baby with Elon Musk.
From 5 months ago.
I have a 5-month-old baby. And so little bit comes out. But what was so disturbing was all of the MAGA influencers, Jack Posobiec, Lila Rose, all of the Christianese supposed people, all they said was congratulations, 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 congratulations. They said that they said congratulations.
She's not married to him.
Right.
She already has a child. She's a single mom.
Out of wedlock.
And
yeah.
all of these Christian conservatives, all they can do is say congratulations. But Elon Musk hadn't come out and said anything about this girl.
It just smelled super fishy, and other people were calling it out. And I was like, you don't have to say anything. You can just wait for things to play out. I mean, this is the internet. This is weird. This is Twitter. Why would you announce this on Twitter? It's all just so very strange. Mm-hmm. So then other little thing, people kept saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening on Valentine's Day. And so I'm like scrolling through my Twitter and I'm like, what is happening here? And people are posting screenshots of different things. And so let's start with this one. 5 months ago, I welcomed a new baby into the world. And this is all going to tie into world news. Believe me, watch how this goes. The arc of this show, you are not going to guess where this goes. Just literally buckle in. Say, I don't know. I don't come to Resistance Chicks for tabloidy stuff. I don't come to Resistance. I want some solid news. I want you to tell me something about the world that's important in my life. I'm going to I don't really know how important this is to your life, but no, it really is. Because
Oh my gosh.
it really is truly important to your life, and the arc of this show is not
There
going
we
to
go.
end up where you think it's going to end up. So just follow me, because the rabbit holes on this went down so many places. I don't even know if I'm out of the cave yet. There's more rabbit holes to go down with this. This is
I'm
very
telling you that
strange.
my rabbit hole that you're going to get to in a
That's
minute
another- that is one. That's a big
is
one.
my main one.
That's a big one, but there's more. There's more.
No.
There is more.
More that you didn't share with me last
Yes.
night? Get out.
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay. I have not previously disclosed this to protect our child's privacy and safety. Very strange. That's one of my first tells. Wait a minute. Elon Musk is in the White House with like 3 or 4 of his kids. So what do you mean their privacy and safety? Elon Musk is literally carting his little children around to wherever Donald Trump is.
And you know what? So I think
He's not worried about the privacy and safety of his children. So that's a lie.
I don't understand what this whole tabloid stuff is. Like, did I miss something? Were there tabloids that came out?
Supposedly, the Daily Mail has been following her at her residence and was going to run the story that she had Elon's baby.
Was going to run the story.
Yeah, she had. They had it. And she wanted.
She just so happened to get ahead
So
of it.
Cassandra Fairbanks is friends with her in real life.
Okay.
So she says, I've been talking to her. The Daily Mail has been stalking her, and they were going to run the story tonight. So she stole their headline from them. That was her big
Supposedly,
win.
right, yeah.
Right. But in recent days, it has become clear that tabloid media, the Daily Mail, intends to. What do they intend to do, regardless of the harm it will cause? Harm? What do you mean harm? That people would know who your baby is? This is very strange. I intend to allow our child to grow up in a normal and safe environment, and for that reason, I ask that the media honor our child's privacy and refrain from invasive reporting, which is very strange because the media reports on all of Elon's children. This is her from 2019. The only people who can destroy this toxic wave of feminism is women. Bring back family values. Make monogamy great again. It's okay to want to be a stay-at-home mom or wife. Stop thinking you need to do the same thing as men to be good enough. Femininity is beautiful. So she ran on a grift, and she posted these kinds of things.
So she's been in the limelight for many years. So if she is, we're just going to run with the fact that she's 26 because that's the only fact that we have. Other people are saying she's 31.
She
okay,
would've
whatever. She
tweeted-
would have been like 20 years old when like 19 or 20 when she did this.
Yeah,
That's very strange.
Yeah, it is very strange. People say, I've known her since 2020, and she was at least 25 then.
Okay.
So she's just constantly
Oh, can
25.
we do that?
Yeah, am
Yes.
25. So she this lady just posted. She goes, I've known her since 2020. She was in her mid 20s when I met her in 2020. Like she's like literally she's like I just don't get it. Like she was not a teenager
Right.
in 2020. She was not 19 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
Like guys, we know what 19 and 20-year-olds look like. They look like Abigail. She's 17. Like no, she's a mid 20s woman looks like a mid 20s woman.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So anyways, I think she's lying. But there's not the only thing she's lying about. Okay, so there's a tweet, and let's see if I can get this in order because Milo Yiannopoulos. Okay, here we go.
He tends to get into all
This
this
is
stuff.
he's
right?
like she calls her Trashily.
Trashily.
He's known her for years, and she goes where all the MAGA influencers go. She's been a great friend of Lauren Southern, of course, in posting in very provocative photos with her, by the way, who's also been one caught in affairs with big name people, but on the left with the Destiny, people are making memes, making fun of her, like she got Elon, he got Destiny. But this is from 2020, asking, and it's supposed to be a joke. And if you make it, it says, he's got a kid with a woman already. Seems unlikely to work out. Ashley St. Clair in 2020 says, well, he actually has 7 kids and goes through women pretty fast. There's more to it. It said, the above tweet, actually, I don't have the whole thing. Sorry. It said, how do I be like Elon's wife or something? I want to make him my husband or something like that. I'm trying to find all these screenshots people are making of this, but that's what she wanted to be.
She had posted
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
that she like wanted to marry Elon Musk, how to marry Elon Musk or something like that. So then Milo shares that, and there's a thread.
Yeah.
So we only have the screenshot of the thread just there. So Milo posts that, and you have to understand something.
Yeah.
This girl supposedly, and it's not really, this part isn't, what's funny is this part's not being questioned, that she has had Elon's child.
Right.
Like that part seems to be true. But she's trying to get a hold of him through Twitter.
But we haven't gotten to that part yet, actually. Trying to get to this.
Like, I'm just saying, so first on Friday, she comes out and says, I've got this baby with Elon Musk, and everyone is congratulating her like that's normal. Like everything's fine, and that she and Elon have been buddy-buddy. Are you going to, you are actually jumping ahead on all of this because you didn't start with all of their
This was the next thing that happened.
Twitter, going back in history, all their stuff that, like, their communications.
Yeah, Milo's,
over the past several years,
Milo
or however long it's been,
got taken down. So I don't have those. Milo had those and tweeted those out. But they tweeted.
She and Elon Musk have been flirting and talking about children and having babies.
So back
on Twitter for the whole world to see, like tongue in cheek.
Yeah, so back in April or something, she said, I went off of birth control. It was the best thing I've done. And Elon Musk said that is wonderful. So that is, I'm trying to find the tweet, but you guys can just have to.
I'm going to crank Leah up because it seems like when I watch
can't
videos
get
back, it's fine. She's much lower than me, so
here
let me
it
know
is.
if we're
it's
about
from
even.
Milo, and I got to retweet this out. Okay, here we go. You can see this now. Because I think Milo might be taken down. Ashley Sinclair plotted for half a decade to ensnare Elon. It says the very tip of it says, I need to get Elon Musk's attention for a marriage proposal. Please, Greg. Greg replies, he's got a kid with a woman already. Seems unlikely to work out. And she says, well, he actually has 7 kids and goes through women pretty fast. So that and what's interesting about this particular tweet is that Milo tweeted this out on a tweet rampage to expose this
You
girl.
can't see it in the screenshot, but it's at the very, very top where she says, I need to get Elon Musk's attention for a marriage proposal.
Yeah, you can see it though.
No, I can, but for our viewers, it may be a little
Yeah.
small to see.
So then what's all strange in all of this is Elon Musk hasn't said anything about this child or about this woman
On Twitter.
since she tweeted this out. And he comments to Milo, whoa. And then she says back, Elon.
This is so embarrassing. We.
Is
the we the baby?
Let me get to it. I don't know. I think it's her team. Wait, we get to this. I want to deliver this line. Elon. ... on X, Twitter. You can't. They have gotten rid of Twitter.com, by the way. It's just X now. We have been trying to communicate for the past several days, and you have not responded. When are you going to reply to us instead of publicly responding to smears from an individual who just posted photos of me in my underwear at 15 years old? Now, what's crazy is I don't think she was 15. She was probably 20 because she's lying. And she used to have a OnlyFans and a very provocative account called Sexbot something. Sex laptop, whatever. So she was doing all of that Sexbot laptop at 15. There's some serious issues. I think she was probably 18 or 19 or 20. Okay. So that's the tweet that she was saying, hey, I'd like to marry Elon. She's been looking to get him for 5 years. Well, it took her about 4 years to get it. And then she says, it's interesting that Elon is responding to this clearly in jest screenshot. She was clearly joking, she says. Even though she ended up having his child, she says, I was clearly joking then. Okay. Clearly in jest screenshot that was discussed with his team months ago in a documented call. So she's having documented calls. She deleted these, by the way, so people took screenshots. Now he decides to respond to it publicly from an account that posted underage photos of me, Milo, as if he wasn't asking me to have more children last week. I would like to take this offline for our child's sake and have been attempting to do so for weeks.
So that part right there is very confusing to me.
Yeah.
Following all these different things that she's saying.
Yeah.
I would like to take this offline for my child's sake, and I have been trying to do so for weeks. So wait, when was it online for the past several weeks? Mm-hmm. Like,
I don't
this
know,
is
Michelle.
it just came out. Like this whole thing, her timeline is weird. And so She's been trying to do this for weeks. And then she says, but just last week, Elon was talking about having more children with her.
So then I'm trying to figure all this out, and all the media influencers, Mike Cernovich is even tweeting out, you guys just you need to start having kids, and start having kids early. And it doesn't matter if you're married, just go have kids. We need to, and this weird, strange Elon Musk going around. I thought I had fallen for it a little bit, because he's like, the world isn't overpopulated, and I want people to say that. He's like, we need to start making children. We need to start repopulating the earth. We need to, well, there's plenty of kids in India. Okay. But no, this is some sort of weird emperor type, czarist mentality that he has. And it's excusing his bad behavior and treating women badly. And it's this harem mentality. And you know who prophesied this or talked about it was Amanda Grace. She said it's a harem mentality for these men to go around just bringing women into their circle. But what a harem is women in your circle that you keep in your circle. So Don Jr. has a harem mentality. He had a wife. He's got 5 kids with that wife, left her for Kimberly Guilfoyle. And then he's keeping Kimberly Guilfoyle with him. They're traveling together. They're doing the campaign together while he's sleeping with a 30-year-old socialite. And then after the campaign, it's well known, and he and Kimberly, who have like this $1 million mansion, I don't know where she's going to go, because she's been riding his coat trains for money. She had left Fox News, so I don't know, she's got to have some sort of like fiance alimony or something. But he kept her in the fiance zone for a long time. It was just a really sick world that these guys live in. And guys, I know you like Trump, but he's a philanderer. He's a serial philanderer as well. On a different kind of scale, but he had 3 children with one woman, divorced her with another woman. I don't know how these breakups work, but I think some of them overlapped. I think he divorced one wife or another wife, and then he had Tiffany. And then I'm not sure. I think he might have been single or divorced her, and then he had Melania, who's like way younger than him, and then he's got Barron. So he's not this great family man with 3 women and 5 children. It's a harem mentality. Elon Musk broke his silence a day after conservative influencer Ashley St. Clair claimed she gave birth to his baby 5 months ago. They only have pictures of her first baby, so there's no pictures of her with the second baby because, and this gets really weird, he responded to a post on Twitter that suggested she plotted for half a decade to have his child. I guess I could have just read the article because it did happen. St. Clair is supposedly 26, but Daily Mail actually had her at 31 before they changed it, because she's probably 31. She and Musk share a 5-month-old child. Ashley and Elon have been quietly working towards the creation of an agreement about raising their child for some time, says her representative. So she's got legal representative. You got to secure some legal reps when you're dealing with a billionaire. You got to get paid. Okay, you got to make a bank. It is disappointing that a tabloid reporter who repeatedly ambushed Ashley and her family made it impossible to complete that process confidentially. We are waiting for Elon to publicly acknowledge his parental role with Ashley, to end unwarranted speculation, and Ashley trusts that Elon intends to finish their agreement quickly in the best interest of the well-being and security of the child that they share. This is what her publicist said. Her publicist is not getting every information back from Elon's team about his child. This is a very weird, really weird situation. And then there's the Milo tweet. Musk wrote "woe" on the half a decade to ensnare Elon Musk tweet. St. Clair responded, "We're trying to get a hold of you." And then St. Clair immediately that night went to the New York Post and gave them an exclusive interview. Okay. And so I'm going to read a little bit of this exclusive interview because this is very strange.
Is that clickable from here? Because I accidentally closed it out.
From there. Yeah.
Right here?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So please stop. Advertisement. Okay. In this exclusive sit-down interview, she described 53-year-old Elon Musk as funny and down to earth, but claimed he wanted to keep their baby secret, quote unquote, for everyone's safety. That's a lie. What do you mean everyone's safety? He's out there parading. He had one of his other baby mamas in the White House. And I'm going to show you a picture with Modi and his kids. I'm going to show you this picture. Modi from India. This chick. Where's this chick? This is chick number. Where'd she go? Where's the other chick with India and Modi? Here it is. Okay. So this is a picture of two of Elon Musk's kids. And I'll get to the names of these other girls. I'm not exactly sure which one this is. But this was from this week.
I'm trying to find
it's all the way. It's like 7 and 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 to the left.
Here we are.
So this is the one that is living in the compound that he has created for $35 million. This is a quote unquote executive at Tesla. And those two babies are in vitro fertilization babies.
So when are you going to bring that in now?
You can now. Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So Leah starts talking to me about all of this, and we're adding up, and there are several really great pictures. And I'll try to pull one up while we talk about this, of following how many kids he has with each woman and each woman's picture and things like that. I was looking at these today. So, and I know this, Leah, I'm still laughing at this, like we are a gossip rag now, but it's still hilarious to me. So we're going to cover it. Here we are.
It has an arc to this story. Just hang on.
So listen here. Elon Musk has these 3 women that he has multiple children with each of these women. And I'm thinking to myself, because of Leah's telling me last night how Elon's been posting all of this stuff on X about how much he wants to have children and he loves having children and some very crude things about having children. And so being a father or supposedly fathering children is important to him and all this, that, and the other. So we all do this, right? You just automatically assume he's sleeping with these women and making babies naturally. Mm-hmm. There is one that he had his first child with her was natural, right, Leah? And then the next 2.
No, you're going to get it all mixed up.
This is what you told me last night.
That's one of them.
I just said one.
One of the women. Yeah, I thought you were starting the beginning.
No, I'm not starting the beginning. I'm just saying there's one woman. I just said there's one woman.
A star, yeah.
That he had a child with naturally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, because I'm making this point, the next 2 children that he had with her were through in vitro fertilization. So
let's just go in order. So
it begs the question, why are you having children via in vitro fertilization with these women? Why are not all of your children natural? Because you would think to yourself, if he's just some sort of loosey-goosey guy.
Well, it started with his first wife.
You would just have kids, and it's like, that was my understanding. I'm making a point here. My understanding for Elon Musk was that he was just loose with his pants and just made babies and didn't care. It was a careless thing that he was having lots of kids. That's the point that I'm trying to make. I thought that was the case. When you look at how many kids he's had via in vitro fertilization
and
surrogacy, it begs the question, what?
Okay, yeah. So we'll build on that. Elon Musk welcomed 13 children over a 20-year span. He became a father in 2002 with his ex-wife, Canadian author Justine Wilson. They welcomed their first son, Nevada Alexander, who tragically died. I think this is where it started for him, at 10 weeks old. What happened to this baby? So he wanted perfect babies after that. Okay. The 2 went on to have 5 more children, twins, Vivian and Griffin, and triplets, Kai, Saxon, and Damien. But those were done. This is probably not the best article for that because
So what you're getting at is you're saying that because he lost his first child, then he decided. So this, now you're getting right to my punchline, which I'll go ahead and give now, since you already said it. Last night, before all of that came out, as soon as Leah told me that he had children via IVF and surrogacy, I was like, Elon Musk is playing God. He's doing this on purpose because he wants to play around with genetics and, all like eye color, hair color, intelligence, health, and because he has the money to do that. So who would be doing it but a billionaire like Elon Musk? And so now you throw this other part at me, which I didn't know, about him losing his first child. That makes total sense that he's like, well, I lost this first child. I mean, who knows why? And so he's going to try to play God and avoid that from ever happening in the future.
Musk's babies, this year in 2022, were conceived via IVF and surrogacy. Is this the future of reproduction? Advances in science and technology, coupled with modern medicine, has impacted the way in which we look at life. It's no secret that the most prolific innovator on the planet, Elon Musk, took an engineering approach to reproduction, and his first 5 boys came into this world via IVF. The last girl was delivered using a surrogate mother. So the woman that he was married to first, he had 2 and then 3, and then a surrogate. The Tesla mogul and his former wife, Justine, welcomed son Nevada Alexander Musk in 2002. Nevada died of sudden infant death syndrome, only at 10 weeks. After losing their firstborn, Musk and Wilson turned to IVF to grow their family. That, I believe, was the beginning of, we need to make sure that we have like a healthy kid or something, because why wouldn't you just... Because obviously that was a natural born kid. So I think he's had 2, but 1 died. Okay. So she gave birth to twins, Griffin and Xavier, in April of 2024. Then they used IVF, and they had
April of 2004.
welcome triplets, Kai, Saxon, and Damien, 2006. Then Musk began dating a singer, Grimes, who gave birth to the son XAEA12. I don't know how you say that name. Earlier in March, Grimes revealed that she and SpaceX founder had welcomed their first daughter, Exa Dark Sidrel Musk. Okay. Via surrogate. Okay, she's the one that had the surrogate in December of 2021. And there are claims that Elon and Amber Heard had a legal battle around the cryopreserved embryos. Cryopreserved embryos.
So these embryos that they have created,
were they from Amber Heard? The lady that, this is from Forbes.
That's interesting.
Did he just put that? He didn't take Grimes' egg. He took it from somebody else. That's very strange. That's weird. That's sick, by the way.
So this is very difficult to follow.
Yes.
So Elon and Amber,
Yeah.
put their eggs, their embryos into a surrogate mother. Like, this is all so strange.
Well, he did date her, but he dated her before or after.
But what I'm saying is that's a strange thing to do. Like, I don't.
Yeah, Johnny Depp.
Why would you do that? You know, I guess maybe she was having trouble. They took her egg, and they took his sperm, and they implanted this embryo into a surrogate mother so that mother might be healthier than she is to actually carry the child. So they probably created multiple of these embryos, and then they were fighting over them. That's so weird.
His brother says that Amber Heard was toxic and a nightmare, said that he falls for people who are beautiful, no question, but they have a very dark side. That's his brother, Kimball Musk.
Okay, let's keep going in the
so
timeline.
we don't know about Amber Heard. Somebody can figure that one out. That one's weird.
So they had a child via surrogacy.
We don't know about her. We just know that Grimes he was with Grimes when that happened. But then they're just saying there's claims that Elon and Heard had a legal battle.
So Grimes was the one that they had the surrogate with.
No. Yes. He had yes.
Okay, I get it. I'm following her. So we're throwing in
Grimes' baby is the surrogacy.
Amber Heard has nothing to do with an actual child, but there's a possibility that she and Elon created some embryos together. Got it.
Yes. In recent weeks, rumors surfaced that he had 2 more kids and this is true.
This is too much to follow.
With a board member of OpenAI and executive of Neuralink.
And she's the one in the picture with Modi?
Yeah. So that's where we were at that moment.
So that takes us to 3 women.
Yeah, that have had.
Go back to this woman with the ex. Are those IVF too? The ex-CEO person?
So what came out after this article was there was another surrogacy with Grimes while he's welcoming the twins.
So he went back to Grimes?
He's with Grimes and he's IVFing the other lady at the same time. He's IVFing.
He's IVFing
the
executive.
The executive. And then he's surrogacying another woman, and they come out within months of each other, like births.
What?
Yeah.
This man's got problems.
Let's see the age of Musk's kids.
Okay, so another punchline, can we? that Elon has this harem and he wants all of his baby mamas to live in this giant mansion together. Although I don't think that Ashley St. Clair has been invited to the harem yet. But he's trying to convince them all to live in the same harem, I'm assuming, so that all of the kids can be there and he can visit them all together.
Yeah. I'm going to go over this one last time. Wikipedia. He has 12, but one died, but he has 13 now. 6 children with his first wife. In 2002, okay, the child dies. Then he had twin in 2004, triplets in 2006. They divorced in 2008. They have shared custody. The elder twin he had with Wilson came out as a trans woman in 2022, officially changed their name. And now Elon says, my son is dead. Must be in dating English actress Tallulah Riley in 2008. They married 2 years later in Scotland. In 2012, the couple divorced before remarrying the following year. And then they briefly filed for divorce in 2014, finalized his second divorce in 2016. He didn't have any kids with her. He dated Amber Heard for several months in 2017, and he had reportedly been pursuing her since 2012. 2018, Musk and Canadian musician Grimes confirmed they were dating. Grimes and Musk have 3 children, born in 2020, 2021, and 2023. Musk and Grimes originally gave their eldest child the name Weird and would have violated California regulations as it contained characters that are not in modern English alphabet. The names registered on the birth certificate are X as a first name and others weird. They received criticism for choosing a name perceived to be impractical.
Okay, nobody cares
Musk
about that.
has said the intended pronoun is X-A12. Their second child was born via surrogacy. Despite the pregnancy, Musk confirmed reports that the couple were semi-separated in 2021. In an interview with Times, he said he was single in 2021. In October of 2023, Grimes sued Musk over parental rights and custody over X. Musk also has 3 children with Siobhan Zillis, Director of Operations and Special Projects at Neuralinks, twins via IVF in 2021. So,
and a child born
via surrogacy. Just this
last year.
So he's got a child born via surrogacy with her just last year while he is impregnating
Ashley St. Clair.
Ashley St. Clair.
That brings us back.
That brings us back. So now we're back at Ashley. This is very strange. So now we know what's going on here. So he's down to earth and funny, she says. But he asked her to keep her son's name a secret, but revealed he is happy and healthy. He has not wanted to keep anybody's secret this whole time. Why her? Okay. Why? Because he's having a baby via surrogacy with the other woman, and there's a campaign going on, and he's trying to run the campaign with Donald Trump for Republicans that are conservative. And so she has to keep it secret and under wraps that this is happening.
Right.
Okay. So Claire broke the internet on Friday. Musk has not yet acknowledged the allegations. Ashley and Elon have been privately working towards the creation of an agreement. We are waiting for Elon to publicly reply. She says he was funny, he was smart, he was down to earth. It started with X interactions and he slid into my DMs. I think it was a meme. At the time, she didn't particularly have much interest in Elon other than his acquisition of Twitter. She first became, that's what she says, obviously aware of the billionaire thanks to her gay best friend who frequently asked her to watch his rocket launches. She was working for the Babylon Bee at the time. The Babylon Bee got promoted by Elon Musk and started to tweet out that they were getting these giant payouts. Ashley started tweeting out that she was getting these giant payouts of $7,000 to $10,000 a month, with the Babylon Bee getting paid about $7,000 to $10,000 a month while she is working with them. Okay, so after Musk restored the Babylon Bee to Twitter from an 8-month suspension for a joke about a transgender Biden administration official, the Bee CEO Seth Dillon asked St. Clair to fly to San Francisco to interview Elon Musk.
Wow.
After the interview, I got a text from him saying, "Feel like going to Providence, Rhode Island tonight." The alleged romance blossomed from there, she claimed. So all of this whole Twitter algorithm, you can make money on X, this was all for Elon to just funnel money to his friends in a way that looked legitimate because other people are not making money on X.
Right.
She claims she was restricted from telling anyone more than a close-knit circle that she was even carrying a child. I was told to keep it a secret. I was being asked to keep it a secret forever. St. Clair declining to provide a reason for the confidentiality or any material proof that Musk is the biological father. Musk allegedly provided her with a lavish apartment in the financial district where rent for a 2-bedroom can soar to $40,000 a month. And a hefty security detail. She's got people following her, but no romance, she said. The young mother was allegedly forced to spend her pregnancy alone. I was completely isolated during my pregnancy. Every part of my career and everything I used to do, I couldn't do anymore. I was told not to tell anybody. Around the same time of her pregnancy, the influencer and author's Instagram went dark for months until she posted from President Trump's inauguration in January 20th. Text viewed by the post between St. Clair and Jared Birchall, Musk's money manager, appeared to show that she complied with the billionaire's wish to be left off the birth certificate and preserve privacy, security, and confidentiality. Birchall, the CEO of Neuralink, which Musk co-founded, did not respond. Some Musk-obsessed fans apparently began speculating that she had given birth to Tesla CEO's baby and began harassing her both online and on the street, she said. She said there was a cohort of violent stalkers who started threatening my toddler. They would send me photos of him with blood. Okay. St. Clair emphasized that she was willing to stay silent because it would also protect her newborn's privacy until a tabloid, which she declined to name, started snooping around. That's what led her to unleash the shocking Twitter announcement on Friday. And then she says, it's very hard to understate how much I'm processing right now. I am sad that my hand was forced by the media to do this now, but there's also a sense of relief because, and she does not look 25 or 26.
No, she doesn't.
I have been forced to live in secrecy for almost a year of my life. I cannot explain the kind of primary pain you feel as a mother when you're talking to people and they ask about the one kid and you have to lie and carry this burden in secret. You have to lie to people you love. St. Clair said she has not communicated with Musk since posting the statement, which was not flagged with the community note to warn viewers of misinformation. He ignored it. Almost every relationship in my life would be bastardized and disingenuous because I couldn't tell them what was going on. My son has never taken a walk outside in 5 months. I have never been able to take my baby for a walk. I was terrified that someone would see I had a baby and it would get out, she continued. The child, now what's very strange is, and people are wondering, did you have it via surrogate? Were you actually pregnant? Like, you said you had to do this pregnancy, but you weren't, like, were you outside? Did people, like, not see you that you were pregnant?
Yeah, exactly. So
like, did your friends not know
months?
that you were pregnant? Like, you didn't look pregnant at all? Like, the whole time? None of this story adds up. She said that they have spent some time with May Musk, Musk's mother. She says, I'm a best mom. I'll be a good mom. So none of this is all so wrong and very strange. And I don't really know how to process this situation that we're watching, but I will go a little bit deeper. And I want to show you, let's see. That's the statement. Ashley and Elon have been trying to work this out privately. Elon isn't saying anything. This is all over Twitter. And then if you go to this one, this is May Musk retweeting a picture of the good one, Siobhan Zillis, the little loves of my life, and May Musk is tweeting them out. And people are saying...
May is Elon Musk's mother.
And people are saying that she just threw up a set, kind of like, take that's a bad thing to say. I'm sorry, I said it out loud. And then if you scroll down, Elon Musk's posts a heart smiley face, and Siobhan Zillis posts a heart.
Hang on, I don't. Wait, this is just a picture you pulled up. Wait a minute, I don't have that one. I just have the picture.
Go to the right. Okay. I don't know if you. Interesting.
Well, it's just a picture, file name.
Well, Elon Musk, well, here, I don't want to retweet it.
Elon just puts a little, one of those, yay, I love this picture, heart face.
And so they're communicating.
And then she puts a heart underneath of it.
So she's in the Oval Office. She's the one. Now, somebody has, I know where it is. It's this one. Let me see. Is it this one? Let me see. Hang on. The Modi picture.
There it is, right there.
Okay. So there's that. That's the Modi picture. Okay, if you scroll all the way up. Or okay, if you go back.
There it is.
Okay, it's the Modi picture. So people are saying she's posting, these are my kids. I'm the one in the inner circle, right?
This is the fight.
Yeah.
Like Bible times,
Yeah.
right? This is Jacob and Leah and Rachel. This is
why you don't do
Abraham
this.
and Sarah and Hagar.
Right.
Right? This is why you don't do all these women. And you know what's so sickening to me?
Mm-hmm.
Is that all of these women around Elon Musk that are these baby mamas,
Mm-hmm.
they all know. And that woman, she is a mentally, like, I would never hire her. I would never talk. You are mentally unsound if you are with the man that has been with all of these other women, having all, like, you just want for that one moment to be the one. Do you think that you're going to be the one that keeps him forever?
Okay, so this woman from Taiwan, she compares it to some Chinese history. She goes, Elon Musk now has enough baby mamas that they are starting to conform to Chinese imperial drama stereotypes. Grimes, she's a rock star, okay, little weird rock star, is the beloved but defiant concubine. She is the emperor's actual favorite, but because she refuses to conform, she suffered exile, ridicule, and repeated betrayals. Grimes' historical analogy is with the Pearl Consort, a clearly adored by Emperor Guangxi, but eventually thrown down a well and drowned for disrespecting the Empress Dowager. But what's funny is that if you click on that, Grimes put an LOL under it.
What do you mean if I click on it? I'm already there.
You click on the comments on that particular picture.
No, that makes me want to have a comment. I don't know how to
Okay.
do this.
Well,
stuff.
no, I'm just telling you. Telling you. Because then she tweeted out that Grimes is agreeing with her. Yes, this is funny.
So then this lady goes on in this thread and talks about other women.
Siobhan Zillis is the one that's in the circle right now, is the perfectly behaved court favorite. She's dutiful, competent, strategic, and approved by the Dowager Empress. This is the concubine that plays her cards just right. Remember, Elon Musk's retweeted her picture. The mom did. But she will never be the favorite of the emperor's heart. Her historical analog is consort Her.
Who?
The brainy, competent woman who secures stability but never had the Emperor Qinglong's full passion. She won the long game, though. Her son eventually became Emperor Jingqing, whatever.
Nobody cares.
So then, the latest addition in the harem is Ashley St. Clair. She is the scheming upstart concubine, another favorite trope. Usually the villainess of the drama, she is the overly ambitious new favorite who thinks she can skip the subtle maneuvering and go straight in for the kill. The Valentine's Day public baby reveal is typical scheming upstart concubine behavior. She overstepped, and the emperor is likely displeased. Her historical analog is Consort Gao, power-hungry and unsettlably scheming. Consort Gao gets too bold too fast. Recipe for the downfall in the Forbidden City.
Oh my gosh. Leah.
Will there be more baby mamas? Probably, but even without, there's a whole multi-season series right here.
So true.
Yes.
That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get a whole series. I think he wants his own movie series about him and his
When
concubines.
I clicked on this, she said wild. She's got she looks like anyhow, don't worry who demand to know who Justine and Tallulah will be. She's got another one tomorrow. She can't forget Amber, so she'll let us know. And then she tweeted out, if you scroll down, Grimes just posted under hers, just LOL. Just LOL. Ha ha. That was funny. That was funny to read. They're all kind of sick. Scroll down, just past that. Just past that. Just keep going. Keep going. Keep going. She posted some stuff that she actually has a life. There it is.
So this Grimes that put LOL is the one that she compared to as Elon's favorite. She doesn't have any children. Oh, she does.
She had a natural child and one by surrogate.
Right.
She's the rock star.
Okay.
But she's the one that won't conform.
This is so weird.
So this all gets really creepy and weird, but it's going to get weirder.
No.
Somebody interviewed Elon Musk's dad. Now, in Musk's, and I should probably let you guys know what he thinks about his dad.
I want to see what you guys have to say here. Let me go over to some comments. Nope. All right, you guys don't even have any comments. I mean, you're there, but you're not so much commenting on the issue at hand, which is totally fine.
So Elon Musk was interviewed by I'm sorry, I have to keep typing here. Elon Musk was interviewed.
Is there any way we could put the mic in between your hands so you could type on the outside of it like that? Would that be too much to ask? Yes. It would be too much to ask. I keep trying to figure out how I can get Leah's mic better, so that it's a little bit closer to her face.
So Elon Musk,
there we go.
He refers to his dad as very abusive. And he tells his story a couple years ago. If I can find some clips, I don't know. I just watched a few. But he says that his dad was violent and abusive and weird. Kimball, let's see. This is from 4 years ago. So she tells, I don't know if I didn't maybe keep that one or something or retweet it, but she tells a story about how Elon Musk's dad found her and made her marry him.
So the interview is with May, not Elon's dad.
Elon and I gotta find this. Here we go. I don't know if this is.
You know, I'll be honest. Leah's. I'm watching, and I wish we had it available so you guys could see what Leah's doing. And I apologize, we don't. But these pictures, I didn't realize just how integral his mom was to his life. There's tons of pictures with her. They do events together. So that makes sense if he's really close with his mom, and they're divorced. That his relationship with his dad might be precarious at best. So what you're telling us is, are you going to play clips from the interview with his dad?
I'm going to play, but I wanted you to get their sense of it. I'm not sure if it was it was trending earlier this week, but it's not trending right now. But she says that he was abusive. It was very violent. Musk says his past
it makes
was
sense
violent.
For Elon. Excuse me. Elon is a very unstable person. You can become a billionaire, and that doesn't actually make you stable. I think it tends to make you not stable. But for him to have this rocky childhood explains how he can just be this great philanderer and go around sleeping with all these women and having all these kids and whatnot.
In my history.
Sure.
This is the clip I'm looking for.
Tell him what we're about to watch.
We're going to see a little bit about Musk's past.
That was me saying, how about while I can't focus on talking, you talk while I pull up your thing.
Here, I'll just retweet it if you need me to.
We have the most unprofessional professional show on the internet.
There we go. Bring it up on Twitter. We're ready.
Okay. I can't say anything on the side. You're supposed to catch my cues, Leah.
I'm not good at it because I'm trying to find it myself.
I know. But then once you found it, then you take over talking. Silly. We don't have a producer, right? We are the producers.
Find that clip. I think there's a guy named Jamie on Elon.
They do. It's every podcast you watch, they say, hey, go find that clip. We are the clip.
Find
us. Right. You want me to press play on this? Okay.
Elon Musk was born into a wealthy family in South Africa in 1971. These pictures depicting a seemingly happy childhood do not tell the full story.
Musk has talked quite a lot about being bullied as a child. He went to a very traditional British private boys' school in South Africa that I think was very hard on him. I mean, here he is, this kind of sensitive, incredibly smart, dreamy kid, reading science fiction books and physically getting beaten up at school. I think that must have had a profound impact on him. He remains very sensitive to criticism and also very motivated to prove doubters wrong.
Musk grew up during apartheid, an era marked by violence and civil unrest. He was also a witness when a gang of armed intruders broke into the family home.
One night, they were sitting in the living room, and his dad, said, "Everybody down, get down," and grabbed some weapons. As you could see on the cameras, there was some intruders that were coming over the walls, and they were also armed. And there was a shooting in the living room, and I guess his father shot them dead. So, and Elon was, a witness to this, and the bullets flying around, and so it was very formative on him. You could tell by the way he told the story, and he had this sense that it was definitely not a safe place to be, right? And he had to get the hell out.
So I just tweeted out another clip. This is May Musk talking about. You may not be able to get through the Twitter. Oh, you can.
It still is going to redirect. It would be stupid for them not to. We're going to watch a TikTok?
I guess so.
I had this one guy who would want to see me, and when I had nothing, else to do, then I would see him. But he was very insulting to people and rude, and I didn't really like him that much. But then, otherwise, I just sat at home, After a couple of years, my brother banned him from seeing me. For 2 years, I didn't see him. I graduated and went to live in Cape Town, and he came to visit me, just turned up with an engagement ring. And I said, I'll never wear it. And then he went back and told my family that I'd agreed to marry him, which surprised my family because they didn't know I was seeing him, and I wasn't. And then I just got this telegram from my parents, congratulations. The wedding arrangements are made, the invites are out, and 800 people are coming. I called him, I said, what do you mean I'm marrying you? And he said, I will change when we get married, because then I'll be kinder and nicer. I'm just aggressive because you won't marry me. So I did believe him. And then I fell pregnant on honeymoon. Then the abuse started right away, beating me up if I didn't do as I was told. I came back from honeymoon bruised and pregnant. And then I didn't want my family to know. So then you just put up with that because you have no choice. Elon, while he was a little boy, he grew up in a very violent home. Like, for example, when I always had to drive the car and he would be punching me, and Elon would be between the seats hitting his father to stop him punching me. When he would be at home and punching me, Kimball and Tosca would be crying in the corner because they were really babies. Elon was 5, Kimball 4, Tosca 3. Elon would be hitting his dad at the back of his legs. And then when he was 8, we left.
His father, Errol, denies all the allegations of domestic abuse.
After 2 years, Elon said he wanted to go and live with his father, and that made me very sad, because I didn't see why he would wanted to do that. His father had the Encyclopedia Britannica. I couldn't afford books. I mean, he'd read everything in the library in Durban, so he had the opportunity to actually read the whole encyclopedias. I could call him anytime and ask him any subject, anything in the world.
Okay, so then there's this weird... His dad now is going around doing interviews.
Have you retweeted this?
Yeah, so this is his dad. And people obviously don't like his dad, but then they do like his dad. So this is very strange. So here he said that he's 1/8 Jewish.
People are referencing it is because back in 2023, Elon actually responded to a tweet. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Well, there was a tweet that someone put up that said, Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of dialectical hatred against whites they claim to want people to stop using against them. I'm deeply disinterested in giving the tiniest shit now about Western Jewish populations, coming to the disturbing realization that hordes of minorities that support flooding their country don't exactly like them too much. You want the truth? Said it to your face, there it is. And then Elon actually responded to that tweet and said, you have said the actual truth.
Well, you know, what was he saying? He's saying it's a good thing or a bad thing to have people coming into your country, or what is your problem?
Well, It was two different parts. So the first thing is saying that Jewish communities push a hatred against whites that they claim that they want people to stop doing to them. That's the first part.
I haven't seen that. I've never seen that.
And the second one is, I'm deeply disinterested in giving the tiniest shit about how Western Jewish populations coming to the disturbing realization that the hordes of minorities that support flooding their country don't exactly like them too much. So I guess they're saying that the immigrants that are coming into these countries don't like Jewish people either. That's the gist of it. And then Elon's response, he tweeted a response that said, "You have said the actual truth."
I can't imagine what he means or even what your statement means. First of all, the Jewish people are so heavily integrated into Western society. 50% of my friends are Jewish. I'm about 1/8 Jewish or something because my mother's grandfather was a Jewish guy. Elon, that for that matter, then would be also a little bit. But we favor the Jewish people very much. So we love them. I mean, they're such smart people. How can you not favor them? But I can't understand what it means, and I certainly can't imagine that people coming into a country particularly isolate one group of people, like let's say the Jews or something, and don't like them. It's conceivable. It's conceivable because if many of the people coming in, let's say, are from the Muslim world, well, there's a sort of, you're sort of brought up in the Muslim world to be at odds with the Jewish people, conceivably. I can't say for sure. On the other hand, I've just spent 2 weeks in Dubai with the Sheikh of Dubai as a guest of his, and these are the finest people you could ever imagine, and not the slightest kind of, dislike for anyone. They're very proud people in their own right. So I think it's just nonsense, utter nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, these things are blown out of proportion sometimes, and sometimes you respond to tweets, you don't fully understand the context of them. I think that's what Elon ultimately said. He said he doesn't really understand anti-Semitism that much, and I think he actually visited a Holocaust museum at one point shortly afterwards. So, it is what it is.
Yes, no, he's been to, Israel. Look, I mean, I don't like to, just show interest in I do care about the Jewish people in Israel, obviously. It's part of the Judeo-Christian world. At the same time, I also am very fond of people I've met in the world there, like in Cairo and in Egypt, and to me, they are just as important. I've never been to Gaza, but I think those people should get as fair a shake as possible. I don't think it's just one-sided story. On the other hand, what these so-called terrorist organizations try to do is borders on way beyond insanity. So, at the end of the day, we're all people, we're all trying to get along with each other. And I think that's what Elon would say as well. We all need to see the best in each other. What else?
Yeah, I agree. I'm Jewish myself, and my entire life, Israel has been at war, with various organizations surrounding them. And I just hope at some point it'll all be over and there could be some peace in the Middle East.
Okay, it's really interesting to me how much he looks like his dad, and even their inflections are very similar.
So
they sound
this is all a very strange world that we are living in right now. Okay, so I'm gonna go. This is Elon Musk's mom, who obviously enjoys being a satanic witch. Okay, there's a lot of witchcraft in this family. In 2022, Elon Musk says his dad, Eroy, how would you say
Errol.
that? Errol, ran out of money in the 90s. My brother and I financially supported him and extended his extended family in South Africa since then on condition that he is not, on the condition that he is not to do bad things. Unfortunately, he did bad things.
What are these bad things?
Well, I want you to see what people are praising him for first, and then you'll see some bad things. Elon Musk's father saying that Barack Obama...
Michelle Obama is a man.
Yeah.
Africa had never been impressed with Obama's approach. We realized we'd learned Obama's a queer married to a man who dresses as a woman. We'd all learned that. It's not common knowledge. That
Michelle Obama's a man.
Of course.
You're going to have to pause this in a second.
You don't...
Why?
Or mute it, whatever.
Why?
I don't want. Let me have this.
Okay.
So as we play it, I can mute
You
it.
know that?
Okay.
I didn't know that. No.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joan Rivers mentioned it publicly, and she was dead 2 weeks later, by the way.
You think?
Oh, yes.
They axed her, eh?
They axed her, yeah. So that's common knowledge. You can look it up on
Yeah.
any internet thing.
I'm sure.
And, Michelle Obama's a man. Obviously.
Okay, you can stop that and go to the next one.
Clintons is well over 100 that they've killed.
The Clintons?
Yes, the Clintons have killed over 100 people. I'll say that. Please take me to court. Okay? Please. They won't take me to court. So
because they know it's true.
But everybody knows the Clinton body count's about 130.
Yeah.
So Yeah, so please take me to court. Please, please, please. Clintons.
Okay. So people are like, oh, I really like this guy. Okay, let's see how much you like this guy. See if I can find that.
Based on him sounding like he's one of us.
Yeah.
The Clintons, Michelle Obama being a man.
Gotta find
these
my
conspiracy theories that everybody loves to talk about. We've never taken an official position on the Michelle Obama being a man thing. I don't have I literally, if I had a definitive opinion on that, I would tell you. I think that it's highly possible. I think there's some probability. I think the clip of him on Ellen is him, listen to me, her, whatever, Michelle Obama on Ellen is a little bit suspect.
So listen to this.
Out in the street. And then I said, she better come here. Have you still got the vehicle? Yeah, she's got the vehicle.
This is him talking about, he has a stepdaughter. He married a woman who had a 4-year-old girl. He raised her from 4 to 18 and then was estranged. And then he met her back when she was 26 or 28, I think, 28, 10 years later. And then
I said, come here. So she brought the vehicle. She arrived here and she spent the next 3 weeks with us. And with Rose and myself, and we got on really well. She'd grown up into, a great looking woman. And we got on extremely well. And, and then after a while she left us because the boyfriend started crying and coming and lying on our doorstep and so forth, crying through the night and all sorts of things like that. So she decided she'll give this bloke another chance. And so she left. And then 2 months later, roughly 2 months later, she contacted me to say she's pregnant. So I said, well, can't be me. She said, well, it is you because she hasn't been with anybody else. She went back with this chap, but they're just friends. So I said, well, all right. Well, then I wasn't too happy with that. So I sent blood samples. At that time, you could only do it like that, to Canada and cryogenically. And they confirmed in Canada that the child was 99.9% mine. So he's now 7.
What?
So, yes. Elon, this was an article from 2018. Tech billionaire Elon Musk's estranged father has had a baby with his own stepdaughter, who is 42 years younger than him. So he married her mom when he was 42, and 42 years younger when he was 46.
The way he delivers
and she was 4.
That story so nonchalantly, like she came back and she was a really good looking girl and we got on really well.
The extraordinary revelation could provide the truth behind the bitter family feud that has engulfed one of the world's richest families. Errol, 72, was branded evil and a terrible human being by the Tesla Motors chief, who said his father had done almost every evil thing you can possibly think of. Now, Daily Mail can reveal that South African businessman Errol has fathered a 10-month-old baby, this is 2018, with his stepdaughter, Jana such and such, who was 40.
So wait,
the article.
This was only 7 years ago?
Yeah.
When he was 65?
I guess so.
When he was 65, he impregnated his 26-year-old...
28. She was 28.
28-year-old stepdaughter, who he had raised from 4 to 18.
28, 38, 48, 58, 68.
40 years.
He was 70 years old at the time.
He's 72 now, and it was 7 years ago.
He was 60. Wait, see.
It doesn't matter. It was 7 years ago. It doesn't matter. 40 years apart.
He's 42. 42 years apart.
42 years apart.
Yeah.
What is wrong with these people?
No, he fathered at 28, 38, 48, 58, 68. He was fathered when he was 70.
Leah, how old is this man right now?
I don't know, but this article
said how old he was.
But this is in 2018.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So he fathered the child when he was 72 in 2018.
Okay.
And she was 30 in 2018.
Okay. It doesn't matter. This whole thing is creepy. Keep going.
He's almost 80 years old now.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so he was 70 and she was 28.
What's wrong with a girl like that?
I don't know.
These people. Probably he probably molested her as a child.
Yeah.
And so then she comes back and they just go right back to it.
Exactly. So, who was 4 when he married her mother? In a sensational interview with the Daily Mail, Errol said he could barely remember Gianna's mother, Hyde, despite the couple being married for 18 years
Oh my gosh.
and having 2 children together.
I can barely remember her.
I've had 2 children and been married for 18 years. Elon, that you have to say that because
no, you don't have to
here's
say
the
that.
thing.
You can never say that in
She
in
lived
actual
it.
truth.
She was in the home with this man from 4 to 18. I guess she left with a monster who obviously beat the other mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know he's a child molester. You know that he molested this girl. You know she ran away, and you know that she came back and he molested her again.
So you're looking at this is Elon's family.
This is Elon's family full of child molester, child pedophiles. So it looks like Elon Musk at the time was 46 in 2018. Reportedly went berserk when he learned that his half sister Yana, who lived with him as a youngster, was having his father's child. Yana, a mother of 2, declined to talk about it.
Wow.
So that's when I told you it just gets darker and darker and darker.
Okay.
And darker.
So, I want to bring it back full circle. Heather says Elon sounds very similar to his father. I totally agree with that. Barry says, Michelle, people with Asperger's actually really only click with one person and basically spend as much time with that person as they can. In Elon's case, it's most likely his mother. That's a good point. That's a very good point, actually. That's actually a very good point.
So what's also interesting is that his dad, if you go back to my Twitter feed, Elon Musk kept saying repopulate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So go to my profile, and I just retweeted this out. You scroll down. There's just a demonic thing here. Scroll down. He says that Elon Musk says his son, or Elon Musk says his son Elon hasn't been a good father, which
to
is
the 12
weird.
children that he's had.
Yeah. And then keep going. I think there was another tweet that he said
Did you just retweet it?
Yeah, I think it might be
'Cause I can
there.
refresh.
No, I think you might. I don't know if you passed it up. Let me see. Yeah, this one. The only thing we are on Earth for is to reproduce, he says.
This is what his father said when he welcomed his second child with his stepdaughter.
Yeah, several years later. This is in 2022.
Wait a minute. Elon Musk's father
is saying the same line.
No. You
Okay.
missed this part. You didn't even get to this.
Okay.
Read it again. If this is true, this is very weird. Elon Musk's father, Errol, has announced that he has welcomed a second child.
Yeah, I think
with his stepdaughter.
I couldn't confirm that, but
who has
yeah, they said
he has
2.
raised since she was 4 years old.
I think I think there might be a second one.
That's weird. Weird. This is just 4 years ago, and the man's almost 80. Or he at the time, like. Okay, so I want to bring this full circle, and then we'll move on
this
to the
guy,
rest of the news.
like my full circle actually has to do with JD Vance. Interestingly enough.
Do you want to hear mine first, or you want to go to JD Vance?
Well, I want to finish the arc of my story.
Okay, finish it.
Okay, so Megan Basham tweets out a picture of let's see. JD Vance, and I think I retweeted it. If you find it in my profile, and I said,
keep going.
She tweeted out a picture of JD Vance with his family, and is trying to make him out to be some sort of wonderful human being, and I think that he is a plant. Okay, and I said. She says, if you really want to strengthen your nation and make it great, championing this is the only way. No shortcuts, no workarounds. And it's a very staged photograph. A mega influencer memo went out. Play up JD Vance as a Christian family man. However,
this is what you said.
Yeah, I'm saying this. There are those who pick up Christianity, especially joining the Catholic Church for political points. It's pretty apparent JD wears the Christian badge as a political strategy. I'm from Ohio. No one wanted JD as a senator. It was a tough grassroots race with many candidates traveling long and hard hours working the ground. JD was in last place in the polls until Peter Thiel gave JD $10 million and asked Trump to endorse him. JD has been groomed to tell people what they want to hear. An atheist running for Senate or VP doesn't go over well with GOP voters. JD has sold everyone an image of who he is, and Meghan here is part of the propaganda. He's from Ohio. He moved back to run for the seat. The other guys running actually made Ohio their home. In 2016, he hated Trump and said the average Trump voters lived in a trailer with a son on heroin, and they were easily swayed to believe anything. The second part is unfortunately true, which is why one endorsement from Trump can wipe out 1,000 hours on the ground. This happened in another congressional race with a playboy from Ohio who spent all his time in Florida, Max Miller, beating out a super strong Patriot candidate who had a solid record and background and worked the ground for countless hours. So pardon me if I know a little bit more about how JD went from a nobody to VP. You did this with a carefully crafted image and lots of help from influencers like Meghan to keep the con going. And we're going to play some clips for you about J.D. Vance over in the EU delivering lines that sound really good, and you're going to like the lines.
But he doesn't deliver them with conviction. He stumbles over them.
Thank you. He does not. And so I was driving in the snow, not too bad, but I was driving in the snow this morning, and I thought I heard something, these rumblings in the spirit realm. And I heard, and I'm obviously making this up. I didn't go anywhere in the spirit, but this is what I'm envisioning. I heard J.D. Vance say,
you're not making it up. What you mean is this is kind of what you were getting. You didn't actually hear it like a vision.
Yeah.
That's all you mean.
So what I hear is his comms team telling him, you have to look at Twitter. Those clips we clipped out are going viral. And he's so excited. And then some of them say, you could deliver them with a little bit more enthusiasm, but only a few people wish that you had. Everybody else just listens to the words. And J.D. Vance says it's all about the words. It's all about the clips that the articles that get written. They just need to be swayed by the words. And he's laughing at them. And he's like, he's laughing because it's like, I can't believe that all I need to do is say certain things. He's like, I don't necessarily believe all this stuff. Of course, I feel like that it is incredibly weird to not allow people to think thoughts in their head in front of a abortion clinic, or it's actually a birthing clinic too. But I feel like the people on the left, the radical left, have gone so far in giving us fodder that it's almost as if we're the bad guys now because we are part of a setup like the deep state switch teams and had to make the switch happen. So they went so far left with the transgender stuff. They went so far left, and they just kept waiting for somebody to pick up the bait, to pick up the message. This is where we're going now. We're giving you the win. If there's a con artist out there, you can pick this up because all sane people will begin to follow sanity. We're going to go so insane because we're going to crash this wing of our party because it's become too toxic. So we're going to do a controlled demolition of the left because it's gone too far. So we're going to make it go farther and farther, and we are laughing because we know it's ridiculous not to be able to pray outside of a clinic in your mind. Right. We're waiting for you guys, you new deep staters, any con artists out there, any con artists want to pick up this up, any con artists, it's a call out to the con artists. So who picked it up? This Ashley St. Clair picked it up. She started to call out all the con artistry, except for when you are yourself a con artist, when you are yourself a manipulator, when you are yourself a liar, you're going to get caught in the lie eventually yourself and be exposed. And we've been praying that God would expose these people. Elon Musk asking this woman not to put this baby on a birth certificate. He doesn't want to repopulate the earth. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to be a father. He doesn't want to be a dad.
Well, I want to also point something out while we're still talking about the story specifics, is that you hit on something very important. I can all but guarantee you that if this had taken place outside of the campaign, when Elon is pretty much running for president himself with Trump, that he would have been fine with her telling everybody because he's been fine with all these other women up until now. He does not care. Yeah. I think it was literally a political move.
It's a political move, but I believe it's also a spiritual move.
Yeah.
Because all the other girls were far left, radical, pro-abortion, crazies. Didn't matter. She had a reputation to uphold. She had as 1 million followers. If she gets pregnant outside of wedlock with baby number 13 in a harem, it ruins the MAGA movement. It ruins the MAGA agenda.
That's two different. This is two different things. Are you saying that Elon cared about her MAGA agenda and cared about her reputation?
Yes, because she's been promoted by the algorithm to say things. She is one that I have engaged with on the abortion issue. She's the one that says, shut up on abortion. Don't you want to win? When previously she was pro-life. So I hate her. I hate her. And I do. I just hate her. Okay? I'm just letting you all the cards on the table. I hate her. Because when I was putting things out and some other pro-lifers were coming out, Lila Rose was saying, hey, Trump, you need to, he was when Trump was talking about the Florida issue 4 or whatever they had going on. And it was going to allow abortion up to birth and all this crazy stuff. And Lila Rose said, hey, listen, you're going to lose voters over this. People decried her and said, you're going to make people not vote for Trump. You're going to lose this thing. Sit in your lane. And then they try to do all these like investigations into Lila Rose. What's very strange is Lila Rose is now congratulating this woman. So Lila Rose is an abused woman because Ashley was tweeting her out saying, look, she's a con artist. Look how much money she makes. Look how she's pulling people away from Trump and the vote. We have to win this. Mike Cernovich did the same thing to Lila Rose. And I'm sitting over here on my little keyboard worrying with nobody's listening or caring. And I'm just yelling that the Republican Party changed the platform. And Ashley St. Clair has 1 million followers, and she's like one of the top 10 MAGA influencers telling people what to believe about Trump and about everything. Which at the time, which is crazy because she's pregnant with Elon Musk's child at the time. And Jack Posobiec is friends with her, and everybody's, and it's just it's an incestuous relationship. And what I'm trying to tell you guys is it's all a facade. It's all crumbling down. There is no MAGA wall. Trump is not there for you. Elon Musk is not there for you. It's all a con. And I know you don't want to hear that, but this is the unraveling of the con. Elon Musk come from a family where his dad is a horrible, horrible human being. And then Elon has proven through his life that he is not the good guy either. Now, I don't see Elon as a child molester, but I do see him as a predator of women, okay? And that's just as bad because you see Elon Musk, how many, he's 53 and she's 30 or 26, we don't know. And he's a predator. He's preying on these women. He's using them as incubators. And then the thing of it is that you really wanted to hammer on, we believe that his push for AI, his push to Mars,
and
all of
Trump's push for funded IVF, which didn't track with any conservative, like we all kept going, Trump, why are you hammering that so much?
Because of Elon Musk. Now we know, okay? Why does Elon Musk want IVF? He wants to do the gene editing CRISPR.
He wants a superhuman race. Right. He wants everyone to have, so it's not IVF so that people who can't have babies can have babies. It's IVF so that you can genetically modify the human race.
That's the whole point of this show. If I could explain to you guys how evil Elon Musk is and where he's pulling Trump in. So what Trump said is, we are going to be pro-life, we're going to be pro-family, but you are going to be allowed to abort those unwanted babies. You're going to be allowed to abort those babies that might die at 10 months. We need you to be able to abort the ones that this is legitimately. Let me explain to you what you're watching on this show, what I came to the knowledge of today. Trump has been pulled in, and we as Christians they're using our pro-lifeness. The deep state has switched. Now they're controlling us. We are the controlled. Okay? They're trying to get their agenda now through our movement because the deep state's like, I have ravaged the left. I can't use them anymore. So what is the devil? The devil is the deep state, by the way, because demons have the long game. People do not. You're like, well, how do these generations of people have a long game for evil, an evil plan? They don't. It's demons have a long game because they don't die. So they'll use one person and get them to do stuff. Demons get people to believe lies all the time. They twist their brains. And so it's so crazy about all of this is, and by the way, Elon Musk and his dad are incredibly racist against black people. There's another clip where Elon Musk's dad was like, he said, maybe I'll play it, maybe I won't. They kept calling us Nazis. That, they didn't even know why they were saying it. But it was a negative confession. You're a Nazi. 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 And then Elon Musk does this thing. Why does he do that? The same spirit behind the Nazis is not
it's the
about
superhuman race.
And so it's the
Elon Musk.
Thank you.
Has that
Where
I
did
want
it
to
come
create the blonde hair, blue-eyed, superhuman Aryan race.
And here's the thing. Jews were a scapegoat, but what's interesting is there's two parallel lines right now. The very weak-minded amongst MAGA are circling everything's around the Jews. Everything's around the Jews. Everything's around the Jews. What does that do? It gets your eyes off of the devil. The other people are being pulled into they haven't gotten pulled in yet. They don't know that the IVF is the pull into eugenics. That the same science went around. We call it there's negative eugenics and positive eugenics. Positive eugenics,
and both are negative.
And positive eugenics is we want healthy families to breed healthy kids. Negative eugenics is we sterilize the dumb, we sterilize the dumb, meaning the mute and the blind, and we sterilize the mentally disabled, and we put them in mental hospitals and we just get them out so they can't breed. Okay, that was the science. It was an accepted science, so much so the reason I really can't stand Winston Churchill, and that went around, is because he was vice president of the Eugenics Society in the UK.
And also featured as a monster in our Alfred Kinsey and the Monsters of America
and
documentary.
He trusted the science. He was the Elon Musk of his day, which was they didn't have the ability for IVF. So they had to do natural IVF, which was we need to encourage healthy people to have babies.
People to breed.
And what's funny is that I see people on Twitter saying, well, the UK obviously didn't do very good at that because your population is drunk. You're not strong people. And so it's a lie of the enemy that you can breed good people. What makes good people? The Pilgrim were little short people, like 5 feet tall. But they were some of the strongest people you ever meet. So strong is internally strong. Strong is being changed by the gospel of Jesus Christ. Strong is if Elon Musk was raised by a monster who obviously is a pedophile, he gets on his face before God and he gets his life to Jesus. And he's like, I am disavowing that. That man is a monster. I am reclaimed. I don't claim him as my father. I don't claim him as my family. I belong to a new father. I belong to a new family. I belong to the family of Jesus Christ. The abuse stops in my family. The abuse stops in my line. But he didn't do that. He went and he is extending his father's abuse. Okay, so then maybe his kids will stop it. We have to stop the generational sin. Some people call it generational curses. I'm calling it generational sin. Somebody in one of these evil families, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, has to stop it. They draw the line in the sand and they say, these people, and they name them and they shame them and they expose them. They say, I was raised in this stuff. I have to expose it. I was born to expose these things. That's what I'm here to do. But if you're not, then you are carrying the family demons. And Elon Musk and the Lord, I feel like, showed this to me. A con artist is not somebody who comes at you like a Ted Bundy. Well, I guess he kind of did in the beginning, but like an axe murderer, like a very evil person. You don't see the con. You embrace a con artist is somebody that you embrace. A con artist actually, get this, wants to give you what you want if it's within their power and it's not taking from them. A con artist gives you something. So the con artist is giving you some IRS stuff and he's enjoying it. A con artist he's a psychopathic con artist. He enjoys seeing you happy about the Doge.
That he enjoys seeing you loving the things that he's doing.
He's like, I can give this to you. I can give this to you. Con artists actually enjoy the art of giving because it means control. If you're grateful for something that he has given you, then he now has control and entrance into your life.
Right.
And so if he can give you the IRS, if he can throw some people on the plate, okay, at you and show you all these, he is absolutely having the time of his life because this is the making, you're watching the making of a con. Like this is his new con. His other cons were PayPal and he's not a smart guy. He doesn't run these companies. He doesn't come up with the modeling, but he is a criminal genius and a criminal con artist. And he knows how to spin and spin and spin. You'll see him with these girls on tape. He loves them. He loves them when he's with them. He loves them and then he drops them. He's flirted with Ashley and he loved her and she felt that he cared. He felt to be, but he has the problem with Elon Musk is with that narcissistic, psychopathic tendencies. They have no real feelings for other people and he doesn't have empathy, probably because he's a detached child.
Oh, that's good. That brings it back to the healing for the fractured soul.
I think he's a detached child that has never developed empathy or compassion. But then, because this is what his dad did, anything that is good must be for a purpose to use it. And so he has good feelings. His dad obviously had good feelings when he met his stepdaughter back after all these years, you know? So that is it.
Okay, so my take on all that. I know we spent about half the program on that, and I'm not sorry actually, because I think this is really important. Elon Musk has become the most influential person in America, in the world, more so than Donald Trump. And let me explain that to you. Elon influences people that Donald Trump does not influence. Elon influences people that influence people that would not be influenced by Donald Trump. So it's a tiered program. So for me, it comes full circle back to this. This is it's just my heart. And then we'll move on to the world news.
This is world news. They're from South Africa.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we've got to talk about the Zelensky and the EU in panic and stuff like that. Right now, sexual perversion and deviancy is it is the scourge of the earth. Okay, right? It not even just right now, like throughout history, it's the scourge of the earth. But it's the reason why I'm saying it's the scourge of the earth right now specifically is that showcased by all of the people congratulating Ashley when she has had a child out of wedlock, and the man that she's had the child with is the most influential person on planet Earth right now, and who has not acknowledged, but also it's true, but he hasn't acknowledged this publicly, and she has no relationship with him. And all of these people that are Christian conservatives are congratulating her and coming out and just saying, yes, just have children. They don't care about her heart. They don't care about anything. So we're looking at this. I think we're living in the most lukewarm era of Christianity that has existed in 2,000 years. Okay, now there's a remnant, but we as the body of Christ, individually, each and every single one of us, you need to take stock in what you find acceptable in society for sexuality. Because if you listened, and I don't know, I would love to hear if you guys raise your hand in the chat, if you caught this, when we listened to the clip from Elon Musk's mother. She gets married with Elon Musk's dad, and she gets pregnant on their honeymoon. Coincidence? Or was she saving herself? Back then, she was likely saving herself for marriage, okay? That's a different society that most of us that are alive today cannot comprehend. We have learned to accept in society that simple promiscuity is just everybody does it and it's okay. We are living in an era where the body of Christ is not moral. We are not holy. And so I look at an Elon Musk, if you can still say, yeah, but he's doing good things, knowing that he has fathered these children with these multiple women and he's got all this weird IVF stuff going on, and yet, but I'm so happy that he's got Doge. Something's not right with you. Like, and I mean that and I love you guys, but like that, you need to get that fixed in your head. You need to ask God to redeem your mind. And that's my take on it.
Okay, so let's go to some kind of funny good news here before we go back to JD Vance. New Zealand's Maori protest. They protest both a drag queen performance by doing the haka dance, and they are protesting the rainbow parades. And so I'm here for all of this.
And the haka is, Leah, tell them what it is again before they see it.
It's a New Zealand tribal war dance.
Yeah. So to use it as a protest for these, I think I have a different one.
They have T-shirts.
Does it matter if I play this one first?
Yeah. They have T-shirts here that say "Man Up." This is the drag queen one. There are only 2 genders. This is great. I got a Bible. He's got a Bible. Man up. Mama wants to.
No, don't try to rap on this one.
Save the children. Save the children. Raising fathers to save the children. What does their shirt say? Man up. With crosses. Oh, I love this. I love this so much. I knew they had to be Christian. What's the website? Look at their little crosses. I love this so much. Real men here. They're going in. They're going in.
They're busting up the stairs to go protest this event. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna skip ahead.
I love this so much.
So the police, for our podcast listeners, are kicking him out.
Always came here on a peaceful protest. We came out to share what we believe society needs, which is the removal of craziness, the craziness of multiple genders. There is only 2 genders. There's no procreation without it. We came to talk about that, but we were actually greeted in the public square with hostility. A couple of our guys have bruises on his forehead, cuts on his arms. When I said to the police, who eventually turned up, that the rainbow community that talks about being inclusive and loving, the disgusting words, spitting, physically pushing and grabbing, handling us. Poor dude's a guy, but he's confused. So I'm saying, hey, that guy. He's like, what guy? So, that guy bloody touched us. That guy's been pushing us. That guy, and the police would do nothing. Actually, I asked to put in a complaint, a physical harm complaint, and they refused to obtain the details of that person or the persons. There were actually young females also who were trying to harm the men, and obviously we're not going to touch them. But if they get in the way of a community space, we want to get access, and that's what we did. Peacefully, we tried to walk through, and they came at us with force. So yeah, it was unfortunate to go into to be greeted by that, the rainbow community, the inclusive community, the loving community. It's not loving. It wasn't inclusive. They didn't want us there, and they were hateful. And if you can see, it's a very big community here. It's giant. It's huge. It should be here for all people, and us included. So without us walking through and having them touch us, force us, it would have been peaceful. But yeah, unfortunately, they don't want to hear a message that's logical, that if you have a confusion about your gender, that's okay. Just do that in your own home. Don't come into a public space that belongs to all people. And that's what we believe. Libraries, schools, community centres, hubs, CABs, doesn't matter what it is, that it's a public space that should be free for all people. There should be no priority to any one.
Okay, you can play the other one. Oops, to the right.
I can't with the. This is
They get to
hilarious.
rock in the parade.
It's awesome.
Oh, did they not get to rock in the parade?
I don't know.
They're not going to let
This
them
is
rock in the
hilarious. So I'm going to turn this down just a little bit more. In any other context, it would be menacing,
Yeah.
right? But because it's the haka,
Yeah.
like they can't tell them to not do it, right? And even the police officers are kind of smiling because when you see people actually doing the haka. I don't know how they do it. Like the constant sticking out of the tongue. Like it's painful to do. It's the greatest thing ever. The fact that they're doing this at a pride parade, like, come on. I wish we had something culturally like this that we could do at these pride parades. The police are just letting them do it. It's awesome. I can't. It's the greatest thing ever. I don't even want to shut it off. Seven Ange says, now these are courageous Christians. Oh my gosh. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. This is awesome. So the crowd's trying to tell them to go. Oh, there's a curse word. So proud of these people.
Oh, they're finally left. Smiles in their faces.
Oh my gosh, that's literally the greatest thing ever. So let me take a minute and catch up on some comments here before we move on, because I know you guys have been leaving them and I don't want to leave them unsaid here. Let's see. Barry says, Michelle, I said earlier that Elon has ruffled a few establishment feathers in the UK with Stalin Starmer and free speech. The establishment press and the UK have spotted a flaw and are attacking Elon for speaking his mind on UK issues. It's so obvious this is a retaliation of the British establishment through the British tabloid press, knowing that it will filter back to the US media. It's a typical British establishment tabloid game. They build people up in the media when something happens that the establishment doesn't like. The UK tabloids tear them down. He's specifically talking about, I think, the Daily Mail pursuing Ashley and this child in that story. Seven Ange says, ever since I have seen that you can now have a child where the robot will carry your baby, I have been thinking how satanic that is. Well said. Barry says, Michelle, I'm afraid sexual immorality actually started to implode in the Christian church some 50 years ago in the UK, and predominantly in Ireland. We are hearing stories breaking all the time with kids in the church's care. Well said. Sherry says, Michelle, I have been aware of this since the 1980s. The biggest clue is how parents allow their daughters to dress. No modesty. The Bible clearly states that we are to dress modestly. Barry says the haka is actually the Kiwis declaring war on the poofs. Seven Ange says, I almost feel sorry for the police because I know it's so great. Over here on YouTube, we have, you should check out his mother. I heard an interview by Jesse Shobatar. Elon's mother is a piece of work. We did talk about that. So back to the modesty thing, just because we're bouncing on a couple different topics here through the comments. My mom, when we were younger, we were allowed to wear sleeveless shirts, right? But we didn't have to be like a shirt sleeve shirt, but we could not wear spaghetti strap shirts. Like my mom drew the line. That was the only line that she had to draw in our dressing, because Leah and I were very fortunate. Well, that's not true. We weren't allowed to show our midriff, which I only wanted to do that one time because I had this one weird friend. But Lee and I were fortunate to grow up in the 90s when t-shirts and baggy pants and flannel shirts were the style.
Yeah.
So we didn't have an issue with modesty very much at all. Like we probably were wearing too many clothes at the time.
All right.
But I totally agree, Sherry. It is. I
let's-
see that with the prom dances and all that.
Yeah.
And these
they're
moms that
awful.
let those girls wear
They're
those
awful.
hooker
They're
dresses.
awful. All right, let's check out this Zelensky story over here. Donald Trump is trying to negotiate for $500 billion worth of rare earth minerals, and is saying that the EU has no place at a negotiating table. And so this is what Zelensky has to say.
Hang on, I'm trying to find it. Let me see if I got the right one. Nope. So I'm getting so close. Here we go.
Trump said this week he did not say yes when he was asked if he sees Ukraine as an equal member in the peace process. He did say later that Ukraine would have a seat at the table. Have you been given any assurances that Ukraine will have an equal seat at the negotiating table?
So I will never accept any decisions between the United States and Russia about Ukraine. Never. And our people, never. And our adults and children and everybody. It can't be so. This is the war in Ukraine against us, and it's our human losses. And we are thankful for all the support, unity between USA, in USA, around Ukraine support, bipartisan unity, bipartisan support. We're thankful for all of this, but there is no any leader in the world who can really make a deal with Putin without us, about us.
Really? Well, America's running your whole gambit, brother.
They're funding, like we are funding you. You have no war without us.
Yeah.
Putin would squash you like a bug.
So I want to play this. This is from Where Schmeier. He's a person of interest. I have no idea who he is. I'm sure he's some
So his
sort
name
of...
is John Mearsheimer?
Mearsheimer. Where I said no. I have a little dyslexia.
Mearsheimer.
I said where because I saw it upside down with a W. Mearsheimer. And he said this in 2015.
What's going on here is that the West is leading Ukraine down the primrose path. And the end result is that Ukraine is going to get wrecked. And I believe that the policy that I'm advocating, which is neutralizing Ukraine and then building it up economically and getting it out of the competition between Russia on one side and NATO on the other side, is the best thing that could happen to the Ukrainians. What we're doing is encouraging the Ukrainians to play tough with the Russians. We're encouraging the Ukrainians to think that they will ultimately become part of the West, because we will ultimately defeat Putin. And we will ultimately get our way. Time is on our side. And of course, the Ukrainians are playing along with this. And the Ukrainians are almost completely unwilling to compromise with the Russians and instead want to pursue a hardline policy. Well, as I said to you before, if they do that, the end result is that their country is going to be wrecked. And what we're doing is, in effect, encouraging that outcome. I think it would make much more sense for us to work to create a neutral Ukraine. It would be in our interest to bury this crisis as quickly as possible. It certainly would be in Russia's interest to do so. And most importantly, it would be in Ukraine's interest to put an end to the crisis.
So he said this in 2015. There was already a crisis happening, and it was the U.S., okay? So now Trump jumps in and put up or shut up. Trump admin reportedly calls on Europeans to list troops and weapons available for Ukraine peacekeeping. The Trump admin has reportedly called on European nations to outline the number of troops and weapons they are willing to commit to the peacekeeping force in Ukraine. And the German broadcaster says that the NTV said that NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte confirmed on the sidelines of the Munich Security Conference that he was aware of this questionnaire that's going around. And it calls for European nations to disclose how many soldiers they will be willing to send to the country as a peacekeeping force and what type of weapon systems they could provide and what they expect the United States to continue to provide in the eventuality of a peace settlement between Kiev and Moscow. Interesting. It comes as European leaders organized by Macron are set to hold an emergency summit in Paris this week to discuss Europe's role in Ukraine going forward as the Trump admin appears intent on conducting negotiations between Ukraine and Russia without them at the table. Keith Kellogg, the U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Ukraine and Russia, argued at the Munich Security Conference that previous negotiations had failed because too many voices were involved, citing the Minsk II agreement in 2015 that failed to create a lasting peace between the two countries. Kellogg said the talks would have been between Ukraine and Russia with America as a mediator. He said that Europe's views will be considered. However, having an actual seat in negotiations will likely not happen. That is not going to happen. And to my European friends, I would say get into the debate, not by complaining that you might, yes or no, be at the table, but by coming up with concrete proposals, ideas, and ramp up defense spending. It may be like chalk on the blackboard. It may grate a little bit, but I'm telling you something that is really quite honest. It comes amid ongoing discussions about a potential pan-European military force being deployed to Ukraine to act as a buffer against the further Russian invasions in lieu of granting the former Soviet state NATO membership or American troops on the ground. Although many NATO states in Europe have ramped up defense spending in the wake of Russian invasion, supporting a large standing force in Ukraine would likely require significantly more spending and potentially cuts to the generous welfare programs throughout the UK or the EU. At the Munich Security Conference, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky suggested a creation of an armed forces of Europe. That was his suggestion, because we can't defend our own, so we need other nations to come to our aid.
Listen here, Zelensky. This war has always been between the United States and Russia, and Russia knows that, and the United States knows that, and you know that too, but you're just still trying to hold on to something. We were funding you 100%, which means that in some sort of weird way, we were fighting Russia, even though we actually like Russia in a lot of ways too. And I think that there's so much more here than meets the eye. And what it feels like is the girlfriend that's getting the mistress that's getting the kind of boot. Like, it's always been the relationship between Russia and the United States, and Zelensky was in the Ukraine, and Zelensky was the mistress that the world was led to believe we should support.
So if you go to my Twitter, you'll see Trump suggesting that the U.S. will continue to send secured aid to Ukraine in exchange for the rare earth minerals, 50% of them, by the way. And he said, if we don't do that, and Putin would say he won.
No, that's not why Trump is doing that, by the way. It's because you just want the rare earth minerals.
You have
that's what this has been about, like, the whole time.
It's also a negotiating tactic too.
So we're getting security on our money. We're going to have it secured by, they have rare earth, and they have oil and gas, and they have a lot of other things, and we're asking for security on our money.
So does it mean you are not sending any
They've
more
agreed to it. Ukraine has agreed to it.
Does it mean you are not sending any more aid to Ukraine?
No, we are, but we want it secured, and the money is going to be secured.
When will the U.S. stop sending funding? When will the U.S. stop sending funding?
Because if we didn't do that, then Putin would say he won. We're the thing that's holding it back. And frankly, we'll go as long as we have to go, because we're not going to let the other happen. So
It's such a game.
It is. But this isn't a game. Syrian refugees suspected in Alu Akbar mass stabbing in Austria that left 5 injured and a 14-year-old dead. A Syrian allegedly stabbed 6 people in the Austrian town of Villach in a suspected Islamic terror attack on Saturday afternoon that left a 14-year-old boy dead. Just days after the attack that struck Munich, a 23-year-old supposed refugee from Syria launched into a vicious stabbing spree in the Carthaginian town of Villach on Saturday afternoon. 5 people were injured during the attack, and tragically, a 14-year-old was killed, bleeding on the street. The suspected terrorist may have committed more violence, however. He was driven down by a fellow Syrian delivery driver before being apprehended by police. The food delivery man said he wanted to go towards the city center when there were children in the street, and I couldn't allow that. I have children of my own.
Wow.
It is believed the 23-year-old was radicalized by Islamist preachers on the TikTok social media platform. A search of his apartment found an ISIS flag, yet it appears that he had avoided entirely coming on the radar of police in Austria and was not classified a threat to the system. But that's not the... Yes. I guess that, and then an Afghan migrant drove through Munich.
Oh my gosh.
On Thursday, killing a woman and injuring 27.
What did I say? So just yesterday, Trump, I think he tweeted or truthed out or whatever, remember that Hamas had until midnight last night to release all of the hostages.
Mhm.
And Trump tweets out that whatever Israel decides to do, we will back and support them.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, and I know that this
It's
happened
gonna
prior,
ramp
but
up
still, that
terror
this was
attacks.
going, this stance of Trump and Israel
Yeah.
was the only recourse that they have is terror attacks.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be some sort of like weird, voodoo predictor here. This
Right.
is just wisdom. My wisdom says you're going to see
right
an increase of these terror attacks just because of that one thing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where all the eyes are on it.
Dr. Michael Yaden, former president of Pfizer, says there was no pandemic, and the lie was maintained in order to inject 5.5 billion people with an intentionally dangerous substance, 17 million of whom have died so far. And so when you do look at the numbers of...
Oh my gosh.
It's
Can't
over to
seem
the
f-
left.
I know, but I don't see it there.
It's that one.
Oh, okay. That's why it didn't look the same.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
There has not been a pandemic. Dennis Rancourt's data shows that the all-cause mortality evidence data did not increase at all in the run-up to the declaration fraudulently by WHO of a pandemic. There is no public health emergency except that created by our governments. An inappropriate, fraudulent PCR test was used to give people the impression that they had a particular disease where they didn't. There were all the normal diseases. And then what happened was, in 3 different ways, people were treated badly through changed medical procedures that were imposed above the level of nation, briefly, mass ventilation of people inappropriately in hospitals that led to lots of deaths. In care homes, many people were given sedatives and respiratory depressants, which led to their deaths. My PhD was specifically in that area of opiates and respiratory depression. And in the community, people were denied life-saving antibiotics and died of bacterial pneumonia. There's your pandemic. There is no other pandemic. And based on this lie, we were told that vaccines were coming our way and would be our savior. 2 things. As I say, first, there's no pandemic, so you certainly don't need an experimental, rushed medical intervention. But secondly, even if you did, as someone who's worked in the industry for over 30 years, I am telling you, it's absolutely impossible to invent, test, clinically evaluate, and manufacture, and then launch on global scale a complex biomedical product. It's absolutely impossible. It's not as close, it's years wrong. The fastest record prior to this was 6 years. And friends of mine who've worked all their lives in manufacturing of complex biological products tell me the methods development alone for the development of a reproducible manufacturing process itself takes a number of years. So whatever it is you think was done, I am telling you there was not the development of a proper medical product. What I think happened was the advancement of materials that are intentionally toxic, and then they were sketchily advanced and jammed into people's arms, often coerced, sometimes even mandated, with the unsurprising effect that millions of people have died. So I think having heard what I've just said, that there was no pandemic and the lie was maintained in order to inject people en masse, I think 5.5 billion people, with an intentionally dangerous substance, 17 million of whom have died so far.
So when you look at that chart, can you just go back at the beginning of the chart and just kind of make it big for a second? Look at the numbers here. So you're looking at the accumulated number of deaths per month.
This was in Malaysia.
So you're looking at 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020 to 2021. There was a slight uptick. Maybe some people got sick, but it wasn't until the rollout of the jab that you're looking at the
deaths just climb.
So the number of vaccine doses tracks with the deaths.
Right.
The spike is
identical.
It's identical. And then the vaccine doses are going down and the deaths are going down. I've always said this. I do believe that some of it is a vaccine spread. I do believe that the Delta spiked it for everybody, and I believe that was vaccine spread. But when it came to actual COVID, there are a lot of people right now in the hospital, and some people are dying of pneumonia and flu. Okay, it's a bad year. I think it's because people's immune systems are weakened through all we've been through, especially vaccinated people. But once we got over the hump, we realized none of us knew anybody dying of COVID.
Right.
None of us knew anybody dying of COVID. It was just people were getting sick.
Right.
You just heard about it on TV. You heard about a bunch of people in Italy, and you heard about people in the hospitals, and we just kept hearing about it, but we didn't really know anybody until the Delta. And
but even then,
like we talked to nurses and they said the COVID was awful, it was horrible.
No, I get that, but the protocols
induced
that they use to treat people with COVID, I'm just not convinced that prior to the censorship of effective treatments that they would have previously used, not even ivermectin, okay, but just previous treatments that they would have done. I knew people personally that went to the hospital with COVID and they were sent home with nothing.
Yeah.
My entire life, if you went to the hospital with a flu, they sent you home with a Z-Pack. Every single time. They at least gave you an antibiotic. But they refused to treat people with COVID that were sick enough to go to the hospital with, like, if you were sick enough to go to the hospital, they didn't treat you with anything if they sent you home. And if you went into the hospital and you stayed in the hospital, they gave you remdesivir, and they put you on a vent. So I'm not convinced that even that many people actually died from COVID as much as they did from it's not medical malpractice. What is the negligence? Is that right?
Yeah, it is.
Medical negligence is what killed these people, I think, in a lot of cases. So, the history of the world is that sicknesses and illnesses have come through and wiped out people. Okay, it happens. I'm not saying that that's not possible for it to happen, even naturally without labs.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, with the modern medicine that we have today, very few people needed to die from COVID.
Yeah, because
I will say no one needed to die from COVID if you actually did ivermectin. But I mean, even ivermectin aside and those types of things aside, just the regular stuff that we have, they weren't treating people. Like, I had countless friends that told me that they went to the hospital and they did not get any treatment at all. And they lived. That's the thing. They're telling they were sick enough to go to the hospital and they lived. So I totally agree. I don't think that there was a pandemic. A pandemic is something that kills people, by the way, just so you know. I don't know what the name of it is for something that's like a really bad thing that makes people sick that runs through all of society and the whole world. Okay, maybe we had that, obviously, but not a pandemic that kills people.
So let's play this. This is from Neil Oliver this week, another little rant.
I love this man.
And he's talking about immunity. And he's like, you know what? I'm not taking your jab. If I die, I die.
Is anyone else getting to the point where news of impending doom, nuclear war, someone somewhere igniting the cow fart that finally sets the world ablaze, a pandemic? Is anyone else at the point where such news brings on symptoms not unlike those of narcolepsy, as in a sudden nodding off? I'm exhausted with it. I'm exhausted by it. The jumping, like flea to rat, from one crisis to the next. Whatever it is the authorities offer next, or indeed mandate, up to and including a jab promising eternal life and a physique like Brad Pitt's in Fight Club. I'm not buying it. Count me out. So after all the crying wolf in recent years about COVID, about climate crisis, about poxy monkeys, after all of it, if something real comes along, I'll just have to face it, clad only in the clothes I'm standing up in, because I wouldn't trust the next government-sponsored solution as far as I could throw it. And let's properly widen our view, the better, after all, to see the bigger picture. Beyond the reach of whatever administration we call whichever government we happen to be lumbered with at any given moment, in the shadows, where the decisions that matter are actually made by the one world government types, we plainly see by now the determination to keep billions of people forever on their toes, forever on edge. War, invasion by aliens, zombie disease, a world on fire on account of cows and gas boilers. All of these, and more besides, are just distractions. If we're supposed imminently to fear a pandemic of the Black Death, experience makes it clear we must ignore that phantom entirely and look around instead for whatever it is the cabal is pulling with a view to seizing more money and more control. I do fear infected fleas, and I'm not especially partial to rats anywhere near my home or my children. But nowadays, the fleas stand behind podiums and try and get me to inject my kids with God knows what, while the rats gather in Davos to plot my doom. Fortunately, the lies and propaganda overdose I was inflicted with after 2020 has given me immunity, natural immunity. And natural immunity, as we know, lasts a lifetime.
So I want to read a couple of comments going back to, the pandemic here. Shauna says that her husband went to urgent care and they sent him home with nothing, and he has never been that sick before. Heather says, I don't think we did have sickness. I think it was just the flu that was rebranded. The actual sicknesses have come from the jabs. I don't disagree with that. And here's why. There's one nagging thing in the back of my head that I found really interesting with whatever COVID was. And I know we don't want to sit on this too long because we've covered it on our show for the past 5 years. In 2020, it was actually 2019, December 31st, I got COVID. December 31st, 2019, I got COVID, and I had it for like a week. And I was sick. Then Leah got sick, I want to say like 5 days after I did. And Leah's sickness was completely different than my sickness. And Leah had the long, lingering, dry cough. I remember after I wasn't sick anymore. And I remember because our rooms are adjacent to each other. They're right there next to each other. And Leah would be coughing at night and I would be crying because her cough was so bad. I've never heard a cough that it was so loud and it was so harsh, and it was that dry cough that they kept talking about that none of us had ever really heard about. And she would just cough and cough and cough. And that went on for a month solid that Leah had that. And many people had that dry cough, but also people had other symptoms. And so what happened was I believe, obviously, that I gave Leah what I had, but her symptoms were completely different. I've never experienced that before. My entire life up until that moment, every single time that I got sick or my mom got sick or Leah got sick, we all had the exact same symptoms, maybe to different severities, but the symptoms were the same. This thing produced multiple different symptoms in multiple different people that caught it from somebody else, right? And so that to me was weird. So on the one hand, I do agree with you, but I still think that, I think they released the flu too, right? And I think that whatever they released in late 2019 that carried us all the way through 2020 it was even more spliced and unnatural than anything that they'd already been releasing. So yes, the flu rebranded, because remember the flu literally disappeared for 2 years solid. No one got the flu anymore, just everyone got COVID. But then as soon as those vaccines hit, it was like Frankenstein's little tiny minion monsters got released and they had no control over what was happening. And so people were catching this whatever mixed with the awfulness of the shedding of the jab.
Right. Okay. So a few more videos here from the JD Vance, he really laid it to the European Union and the EU and the UK on free speech. I don't know exactly what this is going to do, if it's going to be helpful or hurtful, but it's going around, and they took a little beating. So let's play.
They took a beating, but I do have to say this. It's the worst delivery of reading a speech that I've ever heard.
It is really.
I specifically ever heard JD Vance give.
Right.
And perhaps most concerningly, I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs. A little over 2 years ago, the British government charged Adam Smith Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an Army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing 50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes. Not obstructing anyone, not interacting with anyone, just silently praying on his own. And after British law enforcement spotted him and demanded to know what he was praying for, Adam replied simply, it was on behalf of the unborn son he and his former girlfriend had aborted years before. Now, the officers were not moved. Adam was found guilty of breaking the government's new buffer zones law, which criminalizes silent prayer and other actions that could influence a person's decision within 200 meters of an abortion facility. He was sentenced to pay thousands of pounds in legal costs to the prosecution. Now, I wish I could say that this was a fluke, a one-off crazy example of a badly written law being enacted against a single person. But no, this last October, just a few months ago, the Scottish government began distributing letters to citizens whose houses lay within so-called safe access zones, warning them that even private prayer within their own homes may amount to breaking the law. Naturally, the government urged readers to report any fellow citizens suspected guilty of thought crime. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat.
So did he really just say you can't pray in your own home, in your own head?
That's what he was talking about, yeah.
That's insane. All right, let's play this next clip.
To the right?
Yeah.
This is the one that was a little bit garbled.
I look to Brussels, where EU commissars warn citizens that they intend to shut down social media during times of civil unrest the moment they spot what they've judged to be, quote, hateful content. Or to this very country, where police have carried out raids against citizens suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of, quote, combating misogyny on the internet, a day of action. I look to Sweden, where 2 weeks ago the government convicted a Christian activist for participating in Koran burnings that resulted in his friend's murder. And as the judge in his case chillingly noted, Sweden's laws to supposedly protect free expression do not, in fact, grant, and I'm quoting, a free pass to do or say anything without risking offending the group that holds that belief. And perhaps most concerningly, I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs. A little over 2 years ago, the British government charged Adam Smith Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an Army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing.
We already played that part of the speech.
Yeah. So you're right. He could definitely deliver that with a little more umph and a little bit more gusto.
Yeah, and 100%. But I do want to emphasize one thing, if I could, give him whatever, his speechwriter at least, clout for the facts were all right.
Yes.
And the facts were exactly what we've been talking about on the show. We've covered every single one of the stories that he's mentioned there on our World News program, which makes us kind of different than a lot of other, conservative podcasts out there. When we have a show that's dedicated just to world news, when you're looking to the crowd of elite world leaders that he's speaking to, that's why it was significant. If he had just given that speech at like a CPAC or something like that, it wouldn't have made a splash. It wouldn't have been a big deal. But it's like you're in a room with all of these people who are making these rules and making these laws and are responsible for the very stories that he's talking about. And they actually want more controlled speech in their countries. That's what made the speech impactful and a heavy-hitting speech. I would say this, though. The delivery didn't just fall short. It almost detracted from the words because it wasn't convicted. Like, you need facts written down, because I may not remember the names, the place, time, whatever, of each individual story. We sit here on the show and we get to look at our screens and have all these prompts. And so having a speech already prepared, I don't have a problem with that. But the speech should be, and I get you have to have speech writers, but it should be part of you. Like, you should be discussing with the speech writer these stories, and they should be impassioned. Like, I know these stories. I know these people. He clearly didn't have that. He was just delivering some lines of something that people thought that this would be effective.
No, he doesn't. He's not behind. Like, this is a really big deal. People can't, like, who I would have been like, y'all, dude can't pray outside of this clinic.
Yeah,
are you kidding? Are you people insane? What is wrong with you? In Europe, you can't. And people are like cheering it on, like it's, oh yay, he said something. We got a bread and circuses. We got a crumb. But he said something. So I mean, at least he's not. So yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Major flooding in West Virginia. So let's pray for people there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just have a video up. There, it rained
in
all
West Virginia
day yesterday. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So West Virginia is getting hit by some flooding. I mean, it rained here all day. I mean, we kind of.
Here we go. So we had our hog butcher, for those of you that missed the intro of today's show, Thursday or Friday and Saturday, Valentine's Day and yesterday. And Friday was great. We had, it was very, very cold, but it didn't rain. It was dry. I was really proud of everybody that was a trooper being out in the cold. And then yesterday it rained all day long.
All day.
And I'm not saying that it's never rained all day long before, but it's
the YouTube history.
Yeah.
And we'll just play.
It seemed an unnatural amount of rain. I'm going to be honest. And then we woke up today.
All day long.
But then it wasn't done, because we woke up today
and turned to snow.
And it turned into snow, and we got a bunch of snow.
This has just been a wild weekend for weather. There's the flooding aspect of everything that we saw a little bit further north, kind of in the midsection of this storm system, as that has been a big headline grabber, and for obvious reasons. And of course, when it comes to flooding, that's been where we have seen the fatalities take place over the last couple of days. Certainly, we had one fatality, I believe, of an older gentleman, unfortunately, in Kentucky. And I think, Michael, we had another confirmation of a younger fatality as well, which you hate to hear.
Oh my goodness, it was 2 people that were inside a vehicle, and a juvenile body was actually recovered. And unfortunately, the coroner did pronounce that 7-year-old juvenile as deceased, unfortunately. So again, this is a story that is continuing to develop. And please keep in mind that the flooding concern is not over, right? Port Royal, Tennessee, picking up nearly 8.5 inches of rain. Clarksville, Tennessee, picking up about 7 3/4 of an inch of rain. And all of that rainwater still needs to flow into the creeks, rivers, and streams. And unfortunately, Adam, what happens is you start to see rivers dramatically rise even in the days after the rain stops.
Yeah, this can sometimes take 48, 72 hours. That's not unheard of to see a river crest 2 to 3 days in some cases after you've seen a really big rainfall event, particularly when you're looking at this part of the country where it is so hilly and it takes a while to work its way down. So just because the rain has stopped doesn't mean that some of those low-lying areas won't ultimately still see a rush of water before this is all.
So let's keep West Virginia in our prayers this week. And right now with all that flooding, it's just crazy.
No, it's nothing about the weather is natural right now. And who was I trying to talk to recently about, chemtrails and cloud seeding and weather manipulation? And there are still some normies that look at you like, is it really real? No, it's really real. It's like no weather is natural anymore. You can't count on anything.
No.
It's depressing. Are you wanting to play that?
No, we're done. That's
the whole show?
That's the show.
All right. Well, Leah, so I want to get back to this, the title here, the EU in panic over Trump and the Ukraine. It's not just the EU that's in panic. It is the whole world is in panic over Trump. Like you could just leave that hanging. Like you could just stop right there. The world is in panic over Trump. I'm sitting on the outside going, I can see why they're in panic. Okay. Given the fact that we covered like 3/4 of our show today was on Elon Musk and his, I don't even have words for what it is. Okay. If you missed that first half of the show, go back and watch it.
If you don't know who this guy is and what he's capable, like who he is,
he is controlling I'm not going to say all of Trump. Okay. But a vast majority of Trump decisions are being influenced by Elon Musk. So we should know more about him. We should know more about his multiple baby mamas and IVF impregnation. What is this word I'm looking at? Impregnations. Did I just make that word up? I just made it up. The surrogate mothers that he has had so that he can have these multiple children. His past, his mother who's like a witch. Mm-hmm. This is all crazy. Mm-hmm. So I'm not in panic or anything at all because I believe that God is moving and rising.
God is exposing a lot of this stuff, and I think it's a good thing.
But if you didn't have God and you didn't understand what God was doing, you got the left that's in panic over Trump, and then every other sane person should also be in panic, is what I'm getting at, over these things that Trump is doing. It's not like they give you the bread and circuses. They give you the things that you want, like you said, a con artist. Mm-hmm. And we get so happy, pull all this funding. Well, I haven't been able to fully pull myself from Trump. Like mentally I have, but there's still parts that I get tripped up on. And I still want him to do like these good things. And then I still find myself being disappointed. So he comes out really hard hitting and he's like, we are 100% stopping the funding going to Ukraine until people in Western North Carolina have what they need. There's not a penny going to Ukraine. And then little underhanded. That doesn't make
something out of it. But wait a minute. What do you mean the U.S. is going to get something out? We taxpayers have to continue to pay for you. We're not getting your stupid rare earth minerals. We, as the people, are paying for you to get something as a companies, and it's a payoff for companies who want these rare earth minerals, not the average. Michelle, do you need something in Ukraine from their underground world?
No. But my point is, I want you guys to please be wise as serpents, because you're going to see Trump do these big, bold things that make big news, and then what doesn't make the big news is when he walks it back and doesn't actually follow it through the way that you think that he was going to. And that's where I'm like, guys, you're seeing it happen in time.
He's making it out like every single American is going to get a check
for the rare earth minerals.
From the like, here, United States citizens, we recognize that it was your taxes, but it's just an investment. So we're going to pay you back, all of you individually. That's not what's happening. It's like, okay, I'm going to use these guys' money over here to leverage for me and my guys, my cronies, my people to go get something as a result out of that. That is a massive con. And the United States people are like, oh, the rare earth minerals? Sure, we'll take them. What do you mean you're taking them? You're not taking them. So, you're just paying the bill.
In addition to that, you said it's our taxpayer dollars. First of all, it's not. No, but I want to explain this.
Yeah.
First
of all, know this though.
No,
go ahead.
It's not our taxpayer dollars. It's your inflation dollars.
Okay, that's a better way to put it.
It's your inflation dollars.
We are paying for it.
So you are literally okay. So I wanted to differentiate because there's a lot of times where I'm like, okay, modern monetary theory and all of that, and that's what's paying for all this mumbo jumbo money.
We are paying for this. The inflation is out the wazoo. We are every day we're paying for it
because of the money that has been funded to Ukraine. Yeah. Your eggs are more expensive. Your bread is more expensive.
You can't get a car. You can't get a used car.
So that's what I'm getting at. Like it's not taxpayer dollars per se. It's your inflation dollars that literally hits you.
Changed.
Yes.
Your whole life has been changed because of this money to Ukraine, but in addition to it going everywhere else. And that's what Elon Musk is promising to give it back, but the government never gets money back.
No, you never. And that's the thing. We don't have any money. You know what? Patriot Gallery had sent me a link to a video that I need to play. Mom, we will take our walk. If you want me to play this video, I'll play the video first. Could you pull it up from the history, Leah? It's not in the chat. She sent it to me at the start of the show. Maybe I still have it here. Let me grab it. Let me play the video and then we'll end the show. This is what, Mom? 3 minutes, 11 seconds. I want you guys to understand something that we didn't talk about today, and maybe we'll do a special show this week on it instead of pastors behaving badly. I don't know. We'll see. The economy of the world is shifting. Lynette Zhang is talking about it all of the time. This specific video is from ITM Trading, but we need to talk about what's going on with the world economy because you guys need to be prepared. My suggestion for everybody to be prepared is by getting gold and silver, going to resistancechicks.com/God's money. That's what I would like you to do. But if you can buy land, if you can just mentally prepare yourself so that Lee and I were talking about wanting to do quote unquote prophetic news, meaning on this show, we want you to be ahead of what's happening instead of reactive. I feel good about the fact that when economic collapse hits, we will not have to come on here in some sort of breaking news that we should have been prepared for and we were not, and should have prepared you for, but we were not, and it comes out of left field. I'm telling you, when we come on and it's really happened and it starts spiraling and we start covering it regularly, you guys will have been mentally prepared for it because we're talking about it every single week that it's happening and it's happening soon.
Tier 1 asset, Basel III is also forcing a shift away from paper gold, gold ETFs, and gold futures contracts and towards physical gold, meaning physical, tangible gold will be at the center of this new financial system. Because one of the most important rules in Basel III is their net stable funding ratio, the NSFR, which essentially makes it much harder to suppress real gold values with paper gold contracts. I've talked about this before, but real quick for those of you that are new here, the spot price of gold that you read about in the news is actually much lower than it should be if true supply and demand were in charge. Essentially, the COMEX and the LBMA, they operate on a fractional reserve system, the same way banks do. Think about your deposit in a bank. They don't keep 100% of that deposit, they keep a small fraction, but there's an illusion that they have 100% of the deposits in their holding. The same thing happens in the gold market. They make multiple paper claims, gold ETFs, gold futures contracts, on the same piece of physical gold, meaning that they are able to artificially suppress the price of gold by creating all this paper, when in reality, the amount of physical gold they have is far less. Last year alone, the LME did trillions of dollars in paper gold trade on unallocated metals. So even as true demand for gold rose, the price didn't accurately reflect that because they suppressed it with the amount of paper trades that were going on. But Basel III is changing the game. Under the new rules, banks must hold physical gold. There can no longer be this huge reliance on unallocated contracts. The system is crumbling in live time. Look at what just happened last week in London with the Bank of England. Unable to make their gold demands. The veil is being lifted on this system that has been suppressing gold prices, and everyone is starting to wake up and realizing it. At the same time, central banks are buying gold in record numbers, especially over the last 3 years. Why? Because they know what's coming. Here are the top 3 reasons that they are buying gold. Number 1, a protection against currency instability. As global debt reaches unsustainable levels and trust in fiat currencies is completely shattered, it is gold that will act as a true hedge against inflation, a true safeguard against devaluation. Number 2, a shift towards a multipolar currency or neutral settlement currency world. As China and Russia and BRICS alliance nations work together to move away from the dollar that has been weaponized against them, gold is neutral. It doesn't speak one language. It's not affiliated with one country. It transcends all politics and acts as universal true money. And most importantly, the big picture, number 3, central banks are buying gold because they are preparing for a new monetary system. As number 1 and number 2 come to fruition, and the fiat system that we know today collapses, these banks are going to be leaning on their hard assets. They are going to need gold as a way to set themselves up in the new system, because every major monetary shift in history has had gold at the heart of it, and this time will be no different. But this is not just about central banks. This impacts all of us. So how close are we? Where are we in the timeline? Well, Basel III has been rolling out for over a decade. That being said, the final stages of preparation were enacted on January 1st, 2023, which is interesting because if you look at the spot price of gold, which we know has been suppressed, even with the suppression from January 1st, 2023 to today, that spot price has jumped over 60%, and it's no secret why. The rest of the world is laying the foundation for this transition. However, the United States is actually lagging behind and are not expected to complete a full transition until 2028, with the transitionary period kicking off this year, July 1st, 2025. So why the holdup? Well, there's a couple of theories. One of them is that the United States understands that the sooner that Basel III goes into effect, the sooner that the dollar loses its standing as the global reserve currency, which it cannot afford to lose. Think about it. Basel III forces banks to treat gold as a Tier 1 asset, the same as cash. This absolutely could disrupt a dollar-dominated world where confidence is based on debt, derivatives, and fiat-backed assets. The U.S. has a lot to lose as gold's role expands because it threatens dollar supremacy. Now, another theory that people think could happen is that the U.S. is just buying time for the next few years, getting a plan B in place. Many are pointing to even recent comments from last week, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, talking about monetizing U.S. assets. Many are pointing to this clip and saying that is about gold.
Within the next 12 months, we're going to monetize the asset side of the U.S. balance sheet.
But no matter what the cause for delay, we know one thing for sure. The rest of the world is moving forward towards gold, especially BRICS nations. They are preparing for this transition, and anyone who is not preparing for this transition is going to get left behind. So what does this mean for you and I? Well, number one, pay attention to the elite, those in power, those who know something that we don't, because if central banks are stockpiling gold, it is for a reason. And if they are preparing for a reset, then we should be too.
So that's, you guys can watch the rest of that video over on ITM Trading, but
they're preparing for reset, then we should too. It's definitely
happening right now.
Yeah.
Like we're in the process of it. It is happening. Yeah. The question will be, what is going to take over as the currency, the dominant currency right now? I want to highlight a couple of things that that she said. When you are looking at the fiat dollar and these assets that they are wanting to monetize, digitize, that's hearkening to that Klaus Schwab,
tokenized. That's what
the tokenization of your assets.
Matt Gates says money will be tokenized.
You don't want to token, because what they're saying is she just played that clip saying with that guy with Trump saying we're going to monetize the assets of the United States.
That's insane.
She thinks they're talking about gold. First of all, gold should just be money, but I don't think that they're talking about that. They could be talking about land that the federal government owns, which is unconstitutional, by the way. Well, they could be talking about anything, federal buildings. If you monetize it, if you monetize those things, then this is what you need to understand something. Then on your balance sheets that are negative, you literally get to add dollars to what you have when it's fake. It's like you're making it up. But even worse than that, you're vulnerabilizing, just made that word up. You're making vulnerable those things that you have now
weakening.
Thank you. You have weakened them the same way as taking out a second mortgage on your house, right? Or what's the other one that I'm thinking of that everybody does? The credit that you take on the money that you have into your house.
Reverse
mortgage? No, just the line of credit. Your mortgage line of credit or whatever. Okay. You've now made your home at risk. So monetizing all these things, digitizing all things, you do not want to do that. Like that is bad. That is the wrong way to go.
So what they're trying to do in Ukraine, right, is he's like, I'll take your rare earth minerals. It's worth $500 billion.
And now
it's like a monetization of a thing.
So watch these conversations and watch as they shift. But also, like Taylor said, watch these nations as they are moving to gold. What are they doing? I am very careful to not mention this fact here on the show very often because I'm afraid of what it will cause you to do. Please, no one on the face of the planet that ever hears me say this, do not do this. Do not use your credit cards to buy gold and silver, number one. Don't ever do that. But more than that, do not think to yourself that this is a reason to get into debt. And this is what I'm about to say. We touched on this briefly the other day. Inflation, as it rises, makes your debt, like let's say you have $10,000 in debt, and or let's say your whole house is on, let's say your mortgage, you got a $100,000 mortgage. As inflation rises, your debt that you owe, that $100,000, it's actually less and less and less and less and less. Debt becomes less as inflation rises. So if we were to go into hyperinflation, and Lynette talks about this at Zhang Enterprises, we go into a hyperinflationary state, and then wages have to at least somewhat come to that. So a loaf of bread is now $100, and now your boss, instead of paying you $12 an hour, has to pay you $120 an hour, right? Are you following me? So your boss is now paying you $120. Your status of living has not increased any because everything costs that much more, okay, mind you. But your debt now, because you're making $120 an hour, you can start, making 10 times the payment on your debt that you have, and you'll have that debt paid off in no time flat. So do not take that as a license to go ahead and get into debt. But the reverse is also true if you have savings. And what I mean by that is all of these nations that are moving and positioning to gold, I'm going to tell you the one reason why they are doing that, and the one reason only. Because they know that the entire world is about to go into and the dollar specifically, a hyperinflationary state, which means that if they've got that $100 bill, it is now worth $10. So how do they preserve, and how do they... We want to talk about these spaceships or these island places that these rich elite people build or whatever to ensure that they can withstand an EMP or a nuclear bomb or something like that, a shelter, right? I'm telling you that as far as wealth goes, they know that the attack is imminent, and their shelter that they have insured to make sure that the wealth that they have and that they are ready and prepared when we go into hyperinflation is gold. And that is why every single nation now with Donald Trump, including the United States, is shifting to gold to take their cash money, any money that they have, and put it into gold. Don't be confused. It's not because they want to make gold the new monetary, system of the world. It's literally their shelter to take any wealth that they have and weather the storm of the hyperinflationary state that's about to come. So I'm not trying to freak anybody out, but those are the facts on the ground. And if you would like to do the same thing, go to resistancechicks.com/God's money and give Zhang Enterprises a call. Like, seriously. That is if you have any wealth whatsoever. Otherwise, the rest of us are just going to trust in God, because that's all we have. I don't have any money to buy gold right now. Okay. We've had to pay for a lot of expenses the past year and a half. We're not buying any precious metals at this time, but if I could, that's exactly 100% what I would be doing. Okay. So if you want to preserve your wealth, any wealth that you may have, and you are holding it in that paper dollar, next week, your $100 in your bank could be worth 10. Your $1,000 could be worth 100. It goes on and on and on. But like I said, your debt in a hyperinflationary state, it makes people in debt. It really, hyperinflation, if it goes really fast, really quick, benefits people in debt more than it does. And that's what Trump is counting on. Trump is counting on, I can guarantee you this. Trump is counting on taking us into hyperinflation in order to wipe out the United States debt. That's his plan. I can guarantee you. That's all I got.
So last breaking news is that Javier Milei was, and these other people, these other governments that are supporting meme coins like Trump just launched, they're not doing anybody any favors. They're not real, and you need to understand. Javier Milei just destroyed the meme coin market hours ago. This is from 2 days ago. So he did this a couple of days ago on Valentine's Day. Milei launched a meme coin called Libra.
Anyway,
the growth of their economy within 5 hours. Over 4.4 billion of the market cap was erased. Is this the biggest rug pull in history? So, Argentina's leader draws fire after cratering a crypto coin he promoted. Milei has caused a political firestorm. He had Milei. I want to make sure this is right. This is from the New York Times because it's breaking news. He deleted the post, which was on his personal account. 5 hours later, in an attempt to distance himself from the venture. I was not familiar with the details of the project, he wrote on Twitter. And after having informed myself, I decided to not continue disseminating it. That's why I deleted the tweet. On Saturday night, another post on Twitter from the official president account. His initial endorsement of the coin was described as a routine promotion of a business. It also said the president had opened investigations into whether anyone in his government, including himself, had acted inappropriately and whether anyone involved with the coin had broken the law. Mr. Milei has come under fire for apparently pushing people towards risky investment. His initial post also prompted comparisons with Trump, who launched his meme coin, Money Mark Trump, last month. That token surged for a while and then crashed. Let's see that Trump coin. Do you understand what crash means? It means everybody puts in a bunch of money and the people who leave first take all the money. You just lose it. It says that it peaked at $75 per share. So if you bought 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 shares, 1,000 shares, and you didn't get out, it's worth 16 now. Trump's meme coin traders lost, this is unfathomable.
$2 billion.
It's unfathomable.
But the people that, like Leah said, the people that got out first, they're sitting fat and happy.
Family and its partners racked up $100 million in trading fees.
Wow.
More than 813,000 crypto wallets have lost a total of $2 billion after buying Trump's meme coin. That's an insane amount of money. This is going to be a whole story. We're going to have to talk about this. Nobody's talking about this. Why is anybody talking about this? Because the Trump influencers have the narrative, and this isn't part of the narrative. This is a major scandal. Nobody's saying this anywhere. This would be if the Bidens had a meme coin, and people had put in 113,000 people bought into it. It's 1 million people, and then you stole from them.
How many people?
813,000.
Okay.
Less than 3 weeks after its release, Trump's meme coin has produced more losers than winners. For every dollar in trading fees the Trump crypto creators raked in, investors lost $20.
Wow.
About 800,000 wallets. They had 19 days since its launch. The losses accumulated as users either held onto shares of the coin as its value plummeted or because they sold shares at a loss and totaled $2 billion. Meanwhile, trading has generated about $100 million in trading fees owed to the entities behind the coin, including the Trump organization.
You know, we've had people on our show for years get upset at us for our discussion of these digital coins versus gold and silver.
The Fight LLC.
If this doesn't prove to you immediately that these digital currencies are gambling, I believe they are worse than the stock market, because at least in the stock market, there's a business and an asset to back them up. Trump just created something out of thin air.
His children
and
did
people
this.
Lost.
We talked about that Hawk Tuitt girl, how she pumped and dumped.
Guys, it's so wrong. I don't even have words. Because even one of our listeners who we know personally, she's like, I'm doing really well. I mean, she's a single mom. I want her to do well.
Tell me she didn't buy into Trump's
I hope
coin.
she didn't, but like, I get it. Like, I I get you guys wanting to do well. Well, what's the difference between this and any other kind? First of all, it's gambling. I believe that all investing in like the stock market is gambling, because one of my very good friends went down the toilet
inauguration
because he lost in FTX. Like, he's not even the same person. I've had to stop talking to them because their life spiraled into complete chaos after losing almost literally everything. He lost his business. He lost everything because he invested in, quote unquote, invested in FTX. I'm going to say you gambled. Nothing is a sure thing except for gold and silver.
And it's only a sure thing because it's God's money.
Now, Michelle and Leah, but gold and silver prices, they go up and down. Yes, they do, and they shouldn't. But historically speaking, from the beginning of time, we have had gold and silver, and the value of it has pretty much, since like the Garden of Eden, stayed the same for what it can buy.
One account bought 1,969,000 in Trump meme coin hours before Trump launched the coin. And then the account sold the coins for $50 million in profit.
Wow.
Hours before he launched the coin, somebody bought $1 million and then made $49 million.
Wow.
Later sales increased their profits. Let's see. Said Aureli Barthi of Nansen. The later sales increased their profits to $109 million. White found another wallet started purchasing the coin 2 minutes post-launch, then turned around and sold within a half an hour, netting $2.7 million.
So what about the Trump family? Like, where do they stand?
The Trump family and their partners have yielded $100 million just in the trading fees, most of which not cashed out. The paper pointed out no evidence have emerged that Trump or his associates artificially inflated the coin's price or engaged in insider trading. Shortly after the coin launch, Trump claimed he knew little about it. I don't know much about it other than it launched. I heard it was very successful. While early buyers have cashed out $6.6 billion in profits, other traders have collectively lost $2 billion in actual or paper losses. So we'll have to do a show on that.
That's crazy. Back on comments over on YouTube, when we're talking about COVID and the deaths, I want to acknowledge some of these. Yes, I know a couple. One got a crazy cancer and the other wasn't given proper medical care because of the crazy way her doctor acted about treating her. Her doctor was worried about her not getting it. And then they say, exactly, my mother was one. I'm assuming one of the ones that died. And that's just really heartbreaking. Stuart the Brit, hi, Stuart. Says the blind leading the blind. They have been trying to build a European army for years, forcing it on us. The people don't want that ever. I get that. Ballistic Mystic says, I think people bought gold for decades and are trying to sell it now. Homestead and grow practical wealth from God's green earth. Well said, Ballistic Mystic. Let's see if there's anything over on Facebook I need to get. Jim Ford says, hi, Jim. I met you two ladies a couple of times at the Patriot America meetings, and I absolutely love and agree with everything you have said. So glad. You exposed Elon, who I have serious issues with, along with J.D. Vance as well. Remember, he's from Ohio. And by the way, I sit on the board of the Butler County Right to Life in Southwest Ohio. Please let me know if you are coming to Southwest Ohio. We live in Southwest Ohio. Anytime in the near future, I will attend if you do. We don't have any events coming. As a fraud and arson investigator, I am amazed at how up to date you both are on what's going on. Please don't stop what you're doing. Well, thanks, Jim. That was really kind and caring.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Let's see. Patriot Gallery says those counterfeiting U.S. Federal Reserve notes that are credit are breaking the law. The strong dollar is a bunch of criminals, bankers, Wall Street, J.P. Morgan, BlackRock, George Soros, Bill Gates, Fauci, etc. Chris says gold and silver ain't getting me to heaven, nor is what religion is. Karma all the way. Well, Chris, we would obviously beg to differ. I think the Bible says Jesus is the only way, so hopefully he'll come knocking on your door and you'll open your door to the door of your heart to that. All right, so we're gonna finish the show, and in doing so, I would love to again once more acknowledge the fact that Chris came and she filmed our entire pig butcher with so much. So it's probably gonna take us a little while to put that out, but we will. so you guys can have been a part of it with us, which I think is really awesome. So thank you. Patriot Gallery put out a kind of a call like, hey, if anybody wants to come and film. And then so Chris came and she did, and that's super awesome. So thank you for that. Thank you to everybody that came and made our hog butchering event a huge success. If you missed the beginning of the show, it's very interesting because for the past several weeks, I've been calling it the Valentine's Day Slaughter. And then somebody on Twitter literally referred to Elon Musk's 13th baby saga as the Valentine's Day Slaughter. So that was kind of funny. Leah comes, she goes, Michelle, you are not going to believe. You're not going to believe what they said. I was like, well, that sounds like a God thing. So super exciting because it was really fun. So thank you guys for that. I did extend our Valentine's Day sale on our store. It'll go till midnight tonight.
You guys want to use the code because I appreciate you guys.
So many people are making orders that have no promo code.
Somebody got a Founder's Bible that's fantastic and Scribe, so we're going to send that out. But you didn't use the promo code. So what are you going to get?
A free gift. I kept telling everybody, if you don't use the promo code until tonight on midnight, I'm going to still send you something.
Bad. Like we put out this promo code and then people aren't using it.
The promo code right now, in honor of what I was calling 1 Corinthians 13 Day, which is the chapter in the Bible on love.
13.
Love 13 is the promo code. Saves you 10% on shop.resistancechicks.com. All orders should go out on Tuesday. If you have placed an order over the past few days, we were really busy with our hog butchering. Tomorrow is a holiday. It's President's Day.
So everything will Tuesday.
Everything will go out Tuesday.
Willing.
We'll be making a big trip to the post office.
God willing, but we're going to get snow this week.
We got snow. Oh, you're saying I can't make it to the post office because it's snow?
No, like Thursday or something.
Oh,
so we should be okay. I'm going to try to get some hay. A couple young men came. I want to do a shout out to a couple young men who came and worked really hard. Wade,
including Trey. Obviously, it was the three big winners of the hog butchering were Trey and Clay and Wade.
Well, not that I don't want to give a shout out to Trey, but we didn't know Clay and Wade before, and they came and they worked extremely hard and they were extremely knowledgeable with what they were doing, and I think Trey made friends, hopefully, and they got along really well. So much so that Clay was like, well, I don't know if you live around here, but we could get you a job. It was so great. Like Clay we have some country guys around here, and we know we have a hay guy down the street, Donald, who's always sending people to Resistance Chicks.
I love it.
Great guy. He's hilarious to me. And so he told two of his workers, he works them hard. They do hay and different things like that.
It was in his advantage to send them here because he raises hogs, and if he can get them to butcher hogs,
how to butcher some hogs, yeah. But
he should have paid for their way.
And then Wade's mom Jill came, and she was
awesome.
Fantastic, just buzzing around doing stuff. And I looked over, and then there's Wade and Clay and Trey, and they're just working it. I mean, they were making sausage, and they found their groove, and that's what we had hoped, and that's what we hope when we teach you guys these things. You get into a groove, and then you learn what you're good at. You learn what you like.
Yeah.
Victoria and her husband enjoyed packaging a little bit more than
Jay,
the actual
yeah, they did great. They were so great.
Things.
And their daughter Sammy, who was
she
just
was
a
like,
doll.
it was really great because I think Victoria was like, I don't necessarily want to do the cutting, but give me the bags.
You know what I loved about she did great on the cutting, and you know what I loved about Victoria is that I felt like, you know how when you host a class and you ask for people to, like, I pulled out a lung, and it's very spongy, right? And I was like, I want everyone here to feel this, and a lot of people are like, I'll feel it. And she's like, I'm not feeling it. Like every time I asked somebody to feel something, like she did. And then also star of the show, more shout outs to the butchering this weekend. Her husband, Jay, we use crock pots and, you know, those skillets for rendering our lard. And so I went to the secondhand shop and just bought a bunch of them because a bunch of ours had died. So I bought a bunch of them and I'm just ready. But I didn't test any of them. And it's literally, we're trying to get them all fired up and one won't work. It's got an error code and he Googled it and figured it out.
No way.
Yeah, no, he got it all fixed and running. So it was super awesome.
Yeah, so Jay and Victoria, they are both retired. And there's another couple that
they live in West Virginia now.
So Victoria. So that was great. Sorry, I'm missing the other names. Victoria was cutting up. What's the other couple?
Hang on. So wait. You got the two couples mixed.
I did.
Let's rewind because I was like, hang on. Victoria had her hands in everything.
Victoria was all up in it.
So we had Belva and Gary, who you're talking about. They're retired. She was the one that didn't want to do too much, but she was super helpful. Like every time I turned around,
that was the one who wanted to do the bags.
Like, what can I do?
Victoria came in and the second half of the pig. She's like, I am ready. I am cutting the pig.
I was confused when you said she didn't want to do cutting. I was like, Victoria was all up in it.
She came in and she wanted to be like, I'm cutting this. Show me the cuts. No, she jumped in. No,
it was Belva.
It was Belva, and she was one like I'm good.
But they raise sheep.
They raise sheep. They're the retired couple.
But they're not retired. They're retired from like the corporate
they're
job.
Retired from corporate.
But now they have 60 some odd acres.
They retired from the corporate world, and then they bought 64 acres right near our Amish, 10 minutes from our Amish. And hopefully we'll go out and see their farm maybe in the spring or something. They're raising sheep. They're doing all kinds of stuff together. Victoria and Jay literally did like half of the hog themselves. I don't know how much Jay was watching on the first one, and then he's like, here. And I didn't even talk to him. I didn't give him any, because I'm helping some other people, and I'm just like, oh, good job. He's like, here you go. And, he did it, and he did it really well, and so did Victoria. They were both like, you're telling me it's art.
Right.
Let's art.
And every time I turned around, so Shauna and Condi came on Friday.
Condi
kept jumping in, and every little thing he'd like stand back, and like when there was room,
he just jumped in.
He just jumped right in, and I'm just so impressed with every single person that came, and of course the Taylors.
They always just they never stop.
The Taylors don't stop. Cabri,
man,
she's got her hands. She cut so much lard.
Oh,
her hands got tired.
I have never seen somebody be able to cut the lard from the skin so smoothly, and she just took her knife. Beautiful knife skills, by the way.
And she could just cut it.
And I don't like that part because I can't ever get to the skin like that. And it's all messy.
Right.
And, she had that patience with it. She could be a surgeon, basically. She's got the surgeon hands. That's what it is. And she enjoyed it, and like we had to be like, Cabri, other people need to turn. But here's the thing: it wasn't about that. If she were here at the house and there were no other people here, right? She would just keep going. That is a sign of somebody who's doing a great job,
right?
Her and Trey had to fight over who was going to do which part of the
sausage.
It's very interesting. They liked holding the bag.
Oh yeah, holding the bag is awesome.
Holding the bag on there. I thought it was funny. And Cabri, I asked her what her favorite part was, and she said it was the cutting the fat away from the skin.
Yeah.
And she enjoyed it, and they enjoyed it. And they asked me what my favorite part was, and I said just putting the open pig, half the pig on the thing, and then just deciding, okay, let's go at it. What are we gonna do? And then you get to the second pig, you're like, what have I done?
So I want to say something. I know the Taylors watch almost all of our shows. If they hear this, I want you to hear this well. Okay. When the Taylors come to our events, they do all of the things that you don't see that are getting done.
Yeah.
And every time I turn around, they're working and stuff just gets done. And I lean on that a lot.
They just do stuff.
So lunch came around, and lunch was just like ready because and Christine did it, and everything was like perfectly done. Dinner came around, and Christine had been on her feet all day. So Christine sat down.
And I'm disorganized.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
Where's Christine?
I didn't say a word,
you
but I
did.
I said it would be better if Christine had been doing it, and that's true. But I literally felt the absence, and I want to point that out, not because I wish that you had not been sitting down. I wanted you to sit down, but because it really, really brought to me like what Christine does when she and Kevin come, what they both do. To just make sure that everything gets done.
They show up early and
properly.
They stay late.
And so a huge shout out to the Taylor family. We missed their other other sons that couldn't come, but they were taking care of their grandpa. So it was a phenomenal event. I can't say enough good things about everybody that came. I will say this, for the people that we had to turn away, I'm so sorry. But our house was packed.
We didn't have room for it.
And there were actually 2 people that were supposed to come. 3 that didn't make it.
And I don't know how. I
don't know how we would have had them.
I'm sorry that my booty and just you're just gonna have
to. It's like you're walking past people.
We're just dancing. You have to do 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward,
right.
And we're just kind of dancing.
One day I'm
around.
gonna have a butcher's facility.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be great. So thank you guys for coming. You guys were amazing.
Wait for my space.
Yes.
Bigger space.
We'll
invite you all.
But we made it work. And how cool is it that we had enough, like we had to turn people away. Like that says a lot about your guys' interest. And so I'm so thankful that you guys actually wanted to come and learn. So it was super cool. Last but not least, like I said, the sale tonight will go until midnight. I sent the Taylors home with their Christmas presents last night that they didn't get.
Was their thank you.
So a big thank you, to them. The Healing for the Soul Essential Oil Blend. It just, every time you open it up, Leah's 4 tooth powders and polishes are phenomenal. I'm waiting on a report from the tailors because they went home with one of each.
Oh, okay.
Of the tooth powders.
Great.
So they got to give a report on those. They went home with eye pillows. So, and it's so funny because they kept asking me like, well, what's this? What's this? The little tailors. I said, don't you watch my show? They're like, well, they make us go to bed because your shows go late.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, well, fine. So I'll explain. The aromatherapy eye pillows, which I'll be working on sewing more of these today. Well, they went home with 4, so they've got one camel one to share because this is the last one that I had besides the one that I sent them home with. I'm going to be making more today, so it's not sold out or anything. I have more fabric. It just wasn't made. But they smell amazing. They have lavender and flaxseed in it. They are weighted, and you put them on your eyes, and it blocks out all the light. It helps you to sleep. It helps with tension headaches. It helps. Look, it even matches my outfit today. Did you see what I did? You told me I didn't wear Valentine's on Friday, so I wore it today because it's the whole weekend.
We're working on making a multi-eye pillow discount because I want you guys to be able to order more than one.
Yes,
and
that will happen this week. That'll happen this week. But in the meantime, you can use the promo code.
So there's
save 10%.
When you guys order like multiples of something, we want you guys to be able to have a discount. Because so if you're buying 2, you get a discount. If you're buying 3, you get a discount. For the body butters and this far are the ones that I have a discount offered multi and people are taking advantage of it, so that makes me happy. I really want these to be because I want you guys to be able to get in a pack of 2 especially, so you can put one on your and then one on the back of your neck for people who have like migraines or something. It's really great cold here and warm.
So you can keep it in the freezer, put it in the microwave,
warm on the back of your neck and cold on your
is.
eyes. Forgive me.
So you're gonna hear the spiel every show. They're gonna get tired of it. But
if you have kids and you got multiple kids, we want you guys all. You don't have to share. So I want you guys to be able to get as many.
So that's the spiel.
Yeah.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it. We will see you guys on Tuesday night for A Healing for the Fractured Soul and Wednesday night for Revelation Red Pill. Thursday night, the girls will be back in their Revolutionary Revivalist program. And Friday night is our regular news. I don't think I have any other announcements to give other than that. We've been leading up to the hog butchering and the sale. So I think we've covered it. Lee and I'm planning on taking it a little bit easy this week. You know what that means? Patriot Gallery is going to be like, let me fill your...
I got stuff I got to do. I got to get some hay and I got to get some corn.
Yeah, but then I heard we might be volunteering with the Amish. Oh
that's
my
gonna be
gosh.
That's going to be a little bit.
Jamie AG in the chat. Hi, Jamie says beef tallow body butter is amazing, and it's because of people like Jamie that I even made the beef tallow body butter because they don't do pork. Because they keep kosher, just like my best friend Jessie. Jessie's the one I made it for, but I was thinking about people like Abigail and Robert and Jamie that don't do pork, and so I was able to send them one for Christmas. So Shauna says the oil of joy is amazing. All these testimonies, and I'm gonna tell you, I keep getting repeat orders. We got some new ones. Thank you to the new people, but the repeat orders make me so happy, and I like to write little cards that say, "Hey, you bought again," and that makes me happy. It does. Okay, let's see, Mr. Mo Jorison says, what you girls got to realize is meme coins are meme coins, not Bitcoins. No, I get that, but it's all the same. You don't understand.
It's all crypto.
It's all crypto. It's all digital. So I do understand the difference. I'm sorry if we don't explain it because I don't really care to explain it deep, but I get it. I totally get it. Glenda says, great show. Thanks so much. Let me hop over here to YouTube and then we'll say goodbye. Make sure there's no comments I need to read. All right. I think we're good. We love you guys. God loves you. God bless. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory if it's actually the truth. We'll see you next time right here from resistancechicks.com. You guys make me so happy. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to all the donators. Thank you to all the encouragers and the prayers and just being here. And you know what? Even if you never do any of those things and you just watch our show, you don't share it, you don't give it a like, you don't give it a thumbs up, but you tune in, thank you too. I'm glad that you watch. All right, we love you guys. Take care.
Have you been given any assurances that Ukraine will have an equal seat at the negotiating table?